From Food City Center in Knoxville, Tennessee, welcome to a Tuesday night in the SEC. The undefeated in SEC play Texas A&M Aggies and the Tennessee Volunteers from Rocky Top. Thanks for being with us on this Tuesday night. Alongside the one and only Damian Fishback, I'm Richard Cross. Glad to have you with us. Should be a fun matchup, a Texas A&M team that has surprised some people with their 3-0 start in league play.
Yeah, the 3-0 Texas A&M Aggies would be the David in this situation, right? Going against the big upper size of Tennessee, the Goliath. They get many threes, they play with a lot of speed, and they turn you over and distribute the basketball with their bench as well.
A fast Texas A&M team, a physical Tennessee team, and a Tennessee team that's got one of the most outstanding freshmen in the country, and Nate Amen.
Yeah, he's a first-round draft pick. I think he's a lottery pick that gets better every game. You see him going coast to coast. Now, remind you, this is 6'10", 207 pounds that you're looking at. That's where I love to see him, is get inside the paint area. That's where he's most dominant. This is where he has to continue to pick up steam. When he's able to knock down the shot from behind the three-point line and stretch the defense, he makes Tennessee a different team. Had a better game against the Florida Gators in their loss, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. I expect them to play well tonight also.
Only about 28% from behind the arc on the year for Amen. Tennessee tried to bounce back after a loss on the road. They turned it over 18 times against the Florida Gators. Texas A&M coming off a home win against Oklahoma this past Saturday. Game one of a doubleheader tonight on the SEC Network. And how about a turnover right out of the gate? A steal. Now Texas A&M quickly. They let it fly from the wing. 3, too strong for Marcus Hill. Starting 5 for Tennessee. Jacoby Gillespie is the point guard. 5.5 assists per game. That's third best in the SEC. Boswell, Brown, Ament, and Akpara part of the starting 5 for the Vols. In the lane, Room, short. Shot won't go for Dwayne Brown II. First 5 on the floor, Marcus Hill, Rylan Griffin, Ruben Dominguez, who had 10 threes back in the season opener. Jakari Lane and Rashawn Agee. Agee coming off a big game, 16 points in the win against Oklahoma.
You know, Richard, styles make fights, and I expect it to be just that. Bucky McMillan has started out 3-0, and he is a fighter. He's fearless. He respects and loves the job that Coach Rick Barnes has done, but he's coming in fully expecting to get a win here tonight.
Jakari Lane lets it fly, hits the 3 from the outside, and the Aggies strike first.
Yeah, ranked second in the SEC with over 3 assists a game, but showing you offensively his ability to knock down the 3 as well early.
You talk about contrasting styles. Texas A&M, the second best three-point shooting team in the conference. This one over everything and out of bounds off of Akpara. Tennessee, the second best three-point defense in the conference. Here's the new kid on the block in the SEC, Bucky McMillan. First season as the head coach for the Aggies, coming off a successful run at Samford. Looking to the NCAA tournament a year ago. There's a near takeaway by Tennessee. It's tied up. Possession arrow to Texas A&M. So the Aggies keep it on the offensive end of the floor.
Richard, we mentioned it before coming on air. You know, you don't have those same guys who usually stayed year after year, whether that's Grant Williams, Admiral Schofield, or John Fulkerson, Zakai Ziegler. So right now, as I watch Tennessee in this basketball game coming after a tough loss, I'm anxious to see who's the leader, who's leading verbally, who's leading by example, who tries to take this team to another level and say, we're back home, we need a victory.
I think Rick Barnes wants to know the answer to that question as well. Here's another 3, Lane off the mark, but an offensive rebound for Dominguez. Hey! Short off the glass, little bumping down low. Ament comes away with it. Gillespie pushes the pace, dumps it off. Now out front to Brown. Ament going to spot up for a 3. Offensive rebound. Gillespie looking for a screen. He'll pull up for a 3. This one's off the mark. Tennessee can't buy one early, and now A&M wants to run. Lane dumps it off. In transition, there's a bucket for Rylan Griffin. The senior out of Dallas, transferred in from Kansas.
Well, so the first 2 minutes of this game is 100% David with his slingshot. This is 100% the Aggies type game. They're shooting threes, and when I say they are shooting threes, I mean both teams. That's A&M style. And what that does is it leads to fast break opportunities. Riley and Griffin getting out on the fast break, able to finish. The Aggies are using their speed. If you're Tennessee, you've got to go back to using your size and getting it on the interior on the offensive end.
A&M forcing the turnover with a 5-second count. Dangerous inbound pass there. Now Dominguez lets one fly. He buries it. That's 2 from deep for Texas A&M.
And if you're wondering how long the Aggies are going to do this, it is like Lionel Richie all night long. They will press you from start to finish 94 feet.
Asked Bucky McMillan today, I was like, when did you decide that this is the style that you wanted to play? And he said it goes all the way back to when he was in high school coaching an AAU team.
Well, it's a fun style. It's an exciting style. And he did a nice job of recruiting a roster in a very short period of time to get it.
Just beyond the elbow. First points of the game for Tennessee. Nate Ament with the 17-footer.
I don't think there's a player in the country that can stop Nate Ament from getting to his spot and knocking down that mid-range game. This is what we're talking about here. Again, 6'10". Now, you're wondering why he can get that shot off so easy. Marcus Hill was a little late on the screen, but even if he was there, he's only 6'3", and that's with the hair. And so if you look at Nate Ament at 6'10", he's got him by 7 inches. He could do that as much as he wants to. Nice chest move. Bucky McMillan now going to a matchup zone just to throw Tennessee off, really trying to entice them to shoot from the perimeter and not go inside.
Must be able to save a turnover there on the sideline. Feed it inside. There's the size advantage that we were talking about as Felix Okpara goes to work on the block.
There you go. That's Tennessee basketball. They've always had that. They have multiple weapons who can go inside here with this team as well.
Turnover Texas A&M. That is their 3rd in the first almost 4 minutes. Rick Barnes, he is tied for the most wins among active head coaches in all of college basketball, 847 of them. The other, John Calipari.
Yep. We got 2 Hall of Fame coaches. One that's been on the ballot too many times without going into the Hall of Fame, Rick Barnes, and the other one, Coach Cal, one of the best that ever do it, that's already in the Hall of Fame.
3 straight years Rick Barnes has been on the Basketball Hall of Fame ballot. He's going to get there eventually, there's no question. In his 11th year as the head coach on Rocky Top after a long and distinguished career at Texas. Tennessee back inside, but defended well there by Jamie Vincent, who has come in. Boy, the work continued, though, and Jalen Carey gets the bucket.
Yeah, it doesn't look as pretty as those 3-point shots, but it's much more effective and efficient in what Tennessee needs to do.
Another 3 for A&M. This one rims out, and a rebound goes to Tennessee. Long outlet pass, and it's tipped away. Griffin got a hand on it to save the run out.
Well, we said it was going to be different styles. Tennessee style is pounded inside. Felix Okpara with the right jump hook, and then Jalen, Carey with the Volunteers. A
crisp January night in downtown Knoxville. Gay Street looking outstanding as always. Aggies out to an 8-6 lead. Tennessee on a 6-0 run alongside Damian Fishback, Richard Cross. So 3 games into SEC play for everybody. And there's a lot that we still don't know about the SEC. This was not a year where the conference racked up a ton of marquee wins in non-conference play. And yet you look and you've still got 10 SEC teams in the top 50 of the net. What does that mean at this point?
That means that the committee and the net rankings still continue to celebrate teams that go out and challenge themselves. So does a team like Alabama lose anything with losses against a team like Arizona or Auburn against Michigan and Arizona? Absolutely not. So the net rankings as well as the committee continue to reward teams for going out and playing challenging schedules. Now, you can't lose all of those games. Tennessee was able to knock off Houston. Coach Cal in Arkansas knocked off Texas Tech, Louisville, Tennessee as well. And so when you win those games, it enhances your ability to get additional teams to the NCAA tournament.
The corner three won't go. Got a whistle, hit the end line. It was touched last by the Aggies, so Tennessee will keep it on their end of the floor. You mentioned the schedule, challenging yourself. Tennessee certainly did that. Houston and Louisville, the wins. A loss to Kansas, who was receiving votes at the time. They lose at Syracuse, a 2-point game there. Tennessee, this one tipped at the rim and blocked. That was Jamie Vinson. They got a hand on it. Empty possession there for Texas A&M. The long pass ahead and a foul on Jakari Lane. That is his first, and will send Jalen Carey to the free throw line. He is man-sized at 6'8", 267.
Yeah, but he's running that floor. Reward the big guys. One of the best rim runners in the SEC and in all of college basketball is Alex Condon. When you watch the Florida Gators, Alex Condon outruns his opponent at least once per half. And it's interesting to me that I see Jalen Carey running the floor. I imagine you'll see J.P. Estrella. You learn from playing against quality opponents, and it's good to see the big guys in Tennessee running the floor tonight.
Free throws have been a bit of an adventure for Carey this year, just 51%. Made the first, and now a chance to tie it up at 8. Big man got them both.
Well, their free throw struggles in the last couple of months have been well known, not as good as they were in November, and it's impacted their win and loss column, but it's good to see them go down tonight.
Tennessee just shy of 69% on the year. That is 15th in the SEC. Off the screen, nothing but the bottom for Pop Isaacs.
Well, speaking of Texas Tech, Pop Isaacs, Texas Tech, Creighton, recovering from an injury, but is playing some of his best basketball. 26 points in their road win at Auburn, a quality guard that the Aggies are fortunate to have.
Estrella swings it right side to Ament. Now a run through steal. This is Isaacs trying to go all the way, lays it up with a little scoop, and it's a 5-point lead for Texas A&M.
Interesting that you have a lot of young players out there on the floor with Nate Ament handling this pressure for the first time in their career.
There's Amari Evans back out front to Gillespie. Evans defended on the perimeter. Deep three for Gillespie. No, Tennessee still without a made three-point basket. 0 of 4 to start the game, but a long offensive rebound. Zach Clements has come into the game. He knocks it loose, and it's Isaacs that comes away with it. Reggie got rid of it. Isaacs, deep three. No, short on that one. Touched last that time by Zach Clements.
Well, we talked about Pop Isaacs, 6'2", 182-pound junior out of Las Vegas. And, you know, not only can he shoot the three-point shot, but he's getting out defensively. I've seen a lot of players at different teams and universities that are really playing well in Bucky McMillan's system. You know, it's unique when you know, hey, it's 10 or 11 guys on this team, but we're going to play because of the style and the system. We know we're going to get 15 to 20 minutes a game.
Near turnover on the inbound as Amari Abram was able to kind of hold that foot in place, not drag it and get the turnover. It's been a game of runs so far. Texas A&M started out 8-0, then Tennessee went on an 8-0 run to tie the game. Since then, 5 straight for the Aggies.
This style, Richard, the Nolan Richardson, Rick Pitino, Shaka Smart when he was at VCU, it never allows you to get comfortable. You never are able to relax.
Well, what a contrast for Texas A&M fans watching this style compared to what they saw the last few years with Buzz Williams, who had a ton of success in Aggie land. And there's a foul on Texas A&M. That one's on Rashawn Agee, his first. Look at the comparison. The points up, the made three-pointers per game up, assists are up, bench points, and that's a big part of the story for Texas A&M. over 40 a game from the bench, and it goes to the point that you were making about a ton of guys playing.
Yeah, and you always want to watch the Aggies game as you get into that latter part of the second half, because usually other teams start to wear down. You can play at this Aggie pace for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but can you play in this pace for 40 minutes without the mental and physical breakdown?
Whistle, a foul underneath. That's
his first, team first.
On Tennessee.
Yeah, Troy Henderson, another freshman, probably the most freshman that we've seen Rick Barnes play in such a long time. We mentioned it earlier, 11 new players on this roster, and you see that look on his face, figuring it out. But there's no one better in the country to figure it out than Rick Barnes, and he's going to let them do it on their own time.
Tipped into the backcourt, A&M able to run it down, 15 on the shot clock. Top Isaacs, light double team out front. Deep three, and a rebound for Tennessee. Henderson pulled it down. Bishop Boswell back on the floor for the Vols. There's an open look for Henderson off the mark, but an offensive rebound. Tennessee comes away with it, bobbled it for a moment. Boswell with the pull-up. Tennessee's missed some short open looks early in this ball game. They trail by 5 with 11:45 to go in this opening half. Texas A&M looking for a 4-0 start in league play. We told you out of the gate, Texas A&M is going to shoot a lot of threes. That is what they do. They are 3 of 7, 43% early in this game. We've gotten different guys into the deep shooting routine.
Yeah, well, we said that styles make fights, and this style has been a Texas A&M type of fight. They're 3 of 7 from behind the three-point line. Tennessee is 0 of 6. If you're the Tennessee Volunteers, no need for you to be shooting as many threes. On the other hand, they're tied at points in the paint, 4-4, and you can see Tennessee's not accustomed to allowing more than 67 points defensively versus the Aggies. They want to get this game up to the 93, 94 type level. And so if you're Tennessee, you want to slow it down, play at your pace, pound the basketball inside. On the other hand, if you're the Aggies, continue to press, continue to try to speed up this Volunteer team at home.
Bucky McMillan very candid with us today. He said if we come in here and make 9 threes tonight, we're going to get run out of the building. If we make 15, we got a great chance to win on the road.
Well, his goal is to get Tennessee to fall into that same type of trap and to try to shoot a bunch of threes as well.
Runner from the elbow won't go for Isaacs, but he ends up with his own miss. Scrappy on this end of the floor on the offensive glass for Texas A&M so far. Griffin going to try a three. There's another offensive rebound. AG pulled it down, kicks it back out to Isaacs. AG lets it fly. His three won't go. And now Tennessee able to secure the rebound.
So you see this similar with Coach Nate Elk's style. I love that trap even on the miss. That's good basketball. But when you have teams shooting threes, then it allows the quickness and speed to get to the rebound quicker.
Foul on the floor. Shot wouldn't go. Tennessee got the offensive board, and then you follow it up with a foul for Tennessee. Vols have missed their last 9 shots. 0 for their last 9. Ruben Dominguez picks up his first foul. It's 3 on Texas A&M. Line change for the Aggies.
There's no way against the Aggies that nearly half of Tennessee's field goals should have come from behind the three-point line. That's being lulled into that style. You've got to slow down and play your game. Let's see if they get a paint touch here.
Hard foul there by Clements.
Yeah.
And that's going to send Jacoby Gillespie to the free throw line. Welcome to conference play.
Well, I think that's a a typical foul, but it's a good foul. But the point that I'm making, Richard, is that's what happens when you attack the basket. It doesn't look as pretty as the three-point shots when they go down, but you get to the free throw line. You get offensive glass, and you see that in very successful conferences like the Big Ten. You see them throwing the basketball inside, getting teams in foul trouble, or getting baskets at point-blank range.
Gillespie makes 1 of 2. He's the best free throw shooter on this Tennessee team at almost 89%.
How about this? Tennessee showing some pressure of their own.
And they get a steal. It's Gillespie dumping it off. Bucket tipped in inside. That's Dwayne Brown with the 2. Tennessee had gone 5 minutes without a made field goal, so a big bucket there. Clements popped in the face after the 3. He's got free throws coming up.
Well, this is what we mean when we say taking the basketball inside. Even when you miss, a lot of times it's a soft miss and you can go right back up. And Texas A&M claiming that they felt like the ball was still in the cylinder. And obviously there goes the foul there against Clements.
I think they're going to go back and look and see if, did you have contact to the face? Bucky McMillan having a conversation with Doug Shows. Veteran crew here tonight. Doug Shows, Will Howard, and Chuck Jones, our officials. No review. Clements has got 3 free throws coming up. Clements 77% from the line on the year.
Well, he brings size, and he also brings an ability to knock down the outside shot and stretch the floor a little bit. So that's why Bucky McMillan said that, you know, he was going to get more playing time in this basketball game because he wanted to make sure, because Tennessee used 2 traditional bigs, right? Felix Okpara, J.P. Estrella, Jalen Carey. Those are more traditional bigs, that he had someone that could step out where they could go 5 wide at all times.
Clements was part of the 2022 National Championship team at Kansas, role player off the bench, limited minutes that season. Hasn't played much basketball in the last 2 years. Missed an entire year with an injury. Played 8 games a season ago, and then out for the remainder of the year. So he's glad to be back on the floor. A&M looking for that run-through steal. Didn't get it. Tennessee able to break the pressure. Kick out from the lane, back out front. Now they go inside. Go for a 3, and Henderson can't get it to go. An offensive rebound. The putback no good, but Felix Okpara headed to the free throw line for the Vols.
You know, that was the perfect play. I heard a lot of fans in the background, you know, they were wanting Tennessee to shoot the basketball. But because of how they moved the defense, it allowed Felix Okpara better offensive rebounding position. And so that's what I mean when I say you cannot get lulled into the style and pace of the Texas A&M Aggies. I thought when Texas A&M went to Auburn and won that basketball game, Auburn's a team that likes to play fast. I thought that the Aggies actually convinced Auburn to play a little bit faster than they wanted to. There's a difference in their tempo, and once it got into the Aggie style, that allowed them to sneak out with the victory.
Big win a week ago tonight, 90-88. Had the controversy at the end about good or not good at the buzzer. Auburn thought they had something to celebrate. Turned out it was the Aggies who were happy getting on the plane and going back to College Station. Lean into the corner. Rylan Griffin has it stripped away, and it'll stay on the offensive end for Texas A&M.
You know, as I still watch, we've seen over 10 minutes. I still don't know who the leader of this volunteer team is. But they do it differently, right? Who would be the leader of the Aggies team? Not sure. But what you do know is that the Aggies actually do it by committee versus the Volunteers. I feel like they have to have someone step up and say, this is not how we're going to lose tonight.
Luke Shao says touched last by Tennessee. That was defended well. Jakari Lane The defender blanketed on him. Gillespie able to not foul. Got last touch on Tennessee. Tennessee with a steal, doesn't matter. Now Gillespie pushing the pace, a little Euro, and he gets the lay-in to tie it at 15. It's going to be a tough place to play. Tennessee fans have not fully gotten into it yet. Pace hasn't necessarily allowed it, and a big three for Dominguez.
Yeah, it makes it tough when he's knocking down shots like that. Two things, not only the three-point shot, but allows them to set up their pressure once again defensively.
Ruben Dominguez, 2 field goal attempts. That is another 5-second violation. That is twice now that Texas A&M is forced a turnover on an inbound.
Yeah, as I was watching the Oklahoma film versus Texas A&M, they had a couple of 10-second violations. The difference, though, at least it's a dead ball turnover, meaning right now Tennessee at least has an opportunity to set up their defense. Versus a live ball turnover, they'd be trying to get back in defensive transition.
Lane gives it off, 3 on the way, and that's another one for Ryland Griffin. It's a 6-0 run for Texas A&M. They've hit 5 of 11 from behind the arc. And Tennessee flirting with another 5-second violation. Out front, Estrella turns down the 3, drives in. He was looking for the hammer. That was defended well, and Texas A&M is able to come away with it.
Boy, they're scrappy. The type of scrappiness that you typically see from a Rick Barnes team.
Agee on the drive, count the basket. That's on Bishop Boswell. He was trying to take the charge.
Yeah, and obviously Doug Shows was right there on the call. He wasn't inside of the circle. I felt like that the crowd wanted to get the offensive foul, but Doug Shows believed that he just wasn't quite there soon enough.
But Shows just a moment ago signaled 2 free throws. Are they not going to count the basket? Still sorting that out, at least for now. Bucky McMillan is arguing that the basket should count. Called the charge, and you had Agee immediately go up with it. So they're now saying basket good, 1 free throw chance for the 3-point play here for Rashawn Agee.
Yeah, that basket was good before we brought continuation to college basketball. It's definitely good now. I'm still trying to figure out how challenging it must be for officials to try to call continuation now. Look at this pressure even on the miss. Too much pressure. A
foul on Ryland Griffin. Got a little too handsy there, and the crowd here in Knoxville was glad to see the whistle. We got a timeout, an 8-point lead for Texas A&M on the road in Knoxville. Eight minutes left in this opening half in Knoxville. Texas A&M leading at 23-15.
Richard, I want you to take a look here. Texas A&M doesn't need plays. There's a screen that's going to be set by Pop Isaacs, and Ryland Griffin just simply moves behind it. They're always in their play. See the motion here? Boom, screen on Jacoby Gillespie, and then Ryland Griffin's wide open. That's when I say it's a mixture of styles. A lot of teams like to run offensive sets. Their offensive set, the Aggies, is just simple motion, set screen, move without the basketball, and look for that 3-point shot.
And you saw there, it's not a super physical screen. It's just get in the way where you don't have that straight line to the shooter, right?
Yeah, it's chaotic, right? It's what I call controlled chaos. They're more accustomed to playing like that. Versus Tennessee, you're trying to see a duck in. You've got ball screens. It's more organized, but this is not organized at all.
Long outlet pass ahead to Griffin from Isaacs, who may have been the smallest guy there that came away with the rebound. Now Isaacs from the wing, lets it fly, no.
Another screen set that time by Federico.
Federico in the game for Texas A&M. 33, lined up there on the edge of the paint. Did you ever think about going double last name? Just go fish back,
I was about
fish
to start calling you Richard the rest of the night. You brought it up. He wears it better than I do. 6'11", 226 pounds. You know, he actually is huge for them, though, because speaking of guys that run the floor, you watch, he'll get one of those where he runs 94 feet and gets an easy basket as well. They stay so fresh because they play so many guys.
Pop Isaacs gets a hand in the lane, gets another steal, a turnover. Now Holloway lets the three fly. It's short. Rebound from the tallest man on the floor, Felix Akpara. 6'11" senior forward from Nigeria. A turnover by Tennessee.
Just loose with the basketball.
8 turnovers by the Vols. On the heels of 18. There's another foul on a three-point attempt. That's twice that has happened tonight. Dominguez made his first 2 threes. Now he's got 3 free throws coming up.
Yeah, it's an example of a team that's connected and a team that's trying to learn how to get connected. That's trying to learn their identity. This Tennessee team got smacked in Gainesville. Now, Florida could be the best team in the SEC, and I say that because of what I saw from their backcourt last time. But the way they got tested at Florida, their response here shows their vulnerability, shows that they're a little fragile. I'm looking to see how they respond as this game goes on.
You saw a bit of a coming out party in Gainesville?
Yeah, I really did. It's like they were starting to figure. Now, Boogie Flan played the best basketball game that I've seen him play really in the SEC. But the Gators, Urban Klobuchar, Xavier Lee's playing better. They're starting to figure out their rotation. I mean, looking at 15 points right now at 13, 14 minutes in the game. And I think it's because they've been lulled into this Aggie style. They need to pound the basketball inside, take care of the basketball first of all. They've got 8 turnovers again.
An 11-0 run for Texas A&M. The Vols have missed 12 of their last 14 shots. And the pressure continues from this Texas A&M defense.
Nice job by Nate Ament. Who's going to be the leader on this Volunteer team?
And guarded tightly by Ali Deba. Whistle away from the ball. That's Josh Holloway who's going to pick up the foul. His first.
Chuck Jones, nice official, along with Doug Shouse, Will Howard, having a conversation over there with Bucky McMillan. And not a lot of smiles over there, but it's a difficult team to call. Because when you're pressing 94 feet, a lot of teams don't do that. So you have to question how much hand checking is going on. How much are they disrupting the ball handler? How much are they getting their hands and their body and throwing the individual with the basketball off? That's a little bit different to call than your normal basketball team.
7th foul of the half on Texas A&M. So free throws for Tennessee the rest of the way. This last 6:32, Gillespie makes the front end. Marcus Hill back into the game. Josh Holloway, who picked up the foul, goes to the bench. Gillespie got them both. 3 of his 5 points from the stripe tonight. He's 3 of 4 there.
Tennessee's shooting close to 40% from 3 through the first 3 SEC games. But it doesn't matter. You want to shoot open threes. I feel like they're getting to the style of the Aggies right now. They could be getting Texas A&M in foul trouble. I love the fact that the Aggies are pressing the Volunteers and making them play their game.
And Pop Isaacs on the cut, knocked off his mark. No whistle there. Tennessee comes up with the steal. That's the 5th turnover for the Aggies.
Let's see if it touches the paint this time. Almost every position, the Volunteers are bigger than the Aggies right now.
Got the screen and roll from Akpara, but it's Ament with the 3.
Dominguez is 6'5", Nate Ament is 6'10". Can the Volunteers somehow get inside with the basketball?
Tennessee already with 11 offensive rebounds. They're just not shooting it well, but a friendly roll there for Bishop Boswell. First made 3 of the game for Tennessee. Isaacs trying to answer that off the mark. He wanted a foul, didn't get it.
Maybe that will take the lid off. The Volunteers 1 of 10 from behind the three-point line all night.
Do a heat check after one make.
It's just a settle. And it's tough to do. As a former shooter, it's hard not to take a wide open look. But there's different looks where the ball is going inside, touching the paint, and coming back out than it is settling and allowing the defense off the hook when they're smaller than you.
That was short, but the follow is good for Texas A&M. Marcus Hill left it short of the rim. You had Ali Deba just grab it out of the air, flip it over the rim, and draw the contact.
Yeah, because Ali Deba, 6'5", 210 pounds, and another guy who's been to Abilene Christian, Chicago State, Southern Illinois. He's out of Stockholm, Sweden. But the point that I'm making is that with the Aggies and their style, a lot of times they don't have to get higher than you. They just have to be quicker than you. They have to have a better angle to get to the basketball than you do to make their style work for them.
Last year was the best year in college basketball for Ali Deba. He averaged 17 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists with the Salukis at Southern Illinois. Carey with a handoff to Boswell. Is it difficult to transition?
Beautiful.
Good feed and a good finish there by Jalen Carey.
Sorry I cut you off.
No.
I was locked in because that's the first time Tennessee ran an offensive set and got the basketball inside. How easy was that?
Wraparound pass. AG with the ball fake, kicks it out. And now Tennessee creates a turnover. Another steal for the Vols. Ament will bring it up himself. And contact. A whistle on Griffin. And what I was going to ask you is, when you press the way that Texas A&M does, is it difficult to transition from that 94 feet of pressure into a half-court defense?
No, not at all. It's part of their recipe. It's difficult for the offense to transition from going 94 feet and going 80 miles per hour in the fast lane to then going back to 45 miles an hour. It's like if you try to go from here to Atlanta and you go 70, 75, and you go through those little small towns. You
better slow down.
You better slow down. That's what it's like, though. That's what it's like trying to slow down like that. And so for Tennessee, they get sped up. You got to get across the half-court line within 10 seconds, and then you got to slow down again to try to run your offense.
So to go from press break offense into half-court offense.
And it looks like either Jalen Carey or Nate. Jalen Carey's got some blood on his jersey that they're going to try to clean up. I mean, look at Jalen Carey. You don't think he should be getting the basketball inside? He's 6'8", 267 pounds, right? This isn't a guy that needs to be running outside, shooting threes. Allow him to do what he just did and get on the block, use his big body, and lay it up softly off of the window.
3 spots for Carey in 3 years. He started out at JMU as a freshman last year. His sophomore season was at Vanderbilt, now in Knoxville. So working his way west and then back east, I guess.
Yeah, and, you know, he's part of this new culture, this transfer portal. I don't knock the fact that he came to Rick Barnes for whatever reason. You think about Rick Barnes, the type of guys that he's had at his position. The guy that comes to mind is Grant Williams, right? Similar body. If he could get his body into the same shape as Grant Williams, learn to have the work ethic, discipline, basketball IQ that Grant Williams never got enough credit for, then he could have that type of upside here under Coach Rick Barnes.
The work that Grant Williams put in was just relentless.
Yeah, big time. And it's okay to want to play for coaches who maybe fit your style, your system, right?
Texas A&M a little careless with the basketball over the last few possessions. They've turned it over 3 of the last 4. Tennessee has turned an 11-point deficit into a 4-point deficit. Tennessee's turned up the heat on the defensive end as well. Dominguez, long 3, no. And Carey with the rebound.
I think that shot was on the scouting report. 11 seconds left. That is the ultimate green light.
Oswell out front to Gillespie.
But your point was well taken. If they can't score, they can't set up into that 94 feet pressure as well.
Shot clock at 5. Gillespie, the pull-up 3 off the crossover. It's a 10-0 run for the Volunteers, and we've got a 1-point game as we close in on 3 minutes left in the first half. A&M wants to take a timeout.
Well, this does not surprise you at all. We're looking for a leader, Jacoby Gillespie. Thumbs up. Let me take care of this fella. Shoots it from Nashville, Tennessee.
All right, welcome in. We will see you at the half. Dari P.Y. Slay will look ahead to a couple of SEC games coming up in a little over an hour. Also take a look at what's happening around the top 25. But Tennessee, a much-needed run here.
Much-needed run. They got in the trenches. They're dominating on the offensive glass and also turn some of these turnovers from A&M into baskets. That's always a key to win.
Fish, you got a new look from Tennessee right here. They slid Nate Ament to the 4th spot. What does that do for him, and what does that do for the remaining big guys on Tennessee's team?
You think they had a hidden mic in the studio? We were just talking about that Saturday, Slay. I love it because it puts Nate Ament in a position where he has an advantage, right? At 6'10", 207 pounds, he's not going to be quicker than most small forwards, definitely not shooting guards. But you put him up against a couple of power forwards or centers, and he can get by them a little bit better. He can stretch the floor a little bit easier. It certainly puts him at an offensive advantage. I like the look.
Texas A&M on the offensive end with a 1-point lead. Aggies were up by 11, a 10-0 run for the Volunteers. 3 on the way, and a 3 good for Jakari Lane. It feels like every time Texas A&M needs a big basket, they've been able to get it.
Well, and he had big baskets when he was at Auburn, right? 17 points. He had 3 threes and 7 rebounds with his smaller stature at 6 feet, 178 pounds. Big time shot here on the road at the Food City Center.
From the corner, Tennessee able to answer. That's Amari Abram knocking down the triple.
Amari Abram, well-traveled, Georgia Tech, Ole Miss, La Tech, now here at Tennessee. Big shot to keep this fan base engaged.
There's the answer on the offensive end for Texas A&M.
A lot of coaches would have said, why did you settle? But Jakari Lane's hot. He was feeling well. He saw that the big fella, Jalen Carey, had backed up too much.
9 points for Jakari Lane, all of his buckets from distance. Ament lost the handle, able to get it back. Abram settles the offense down, at least for now, for Tennessee. Carey faces up, gets it out. Gillespie 3 on the way. His is short. Ament trying to save it inbounds, cannot get there before it hits the end line.
Yeah, but I don't mind that three-point shot. It went inside and then went back out. And then this 3 that you just talked about, Amari Abram, quick trigger, and then Jakari Lane. You see the mismatch, but that's a lot of space, just not quite close enough. The big fella didn't foul, which was good, but that was all Jakari Lane needed. It was a little peak to knock down that big shot. Texas
A&M has made 7 threes in the first half. They're 7 of 17, 41%, a little better than their season average.
Halfway there, Bucky McMillan said they needed 15 threes.
AG guarded by Ament.
It's really good defense by Gillespie.
Dominguez had a good first half. And now Clements with the 3 off the front iron. And a strong rebound there by Akpara. Quickly the other way. Abram from the corner again. This time too strong. But another offensive rebound for Tennessee.
And if you're questioning, hey, that's a quick shot, why didn't you comment on that? Well, that was a quick shot in transition with a broken defense that allowed offensive rebounding lanes.
Abram cut off in the lane, gets it to Gillespie. Gillespie going right at the defender down low. Went right into the chest of AG, couldn't get the bucket to go. AG, good job not fouling there. Dominguez over the head, no look. Got a 5-second differential, shot clock and game clock.
Tennessee matches up much better defensively. The Aggies don't have as much of a quickness advantage with Nate Amen at the 4.
Dominguez, no, tipped around. AG gets the long rebound. They give it off. Clements for 3, no. Tennessee gonna have a shout at the buzzer. Oh, the front iron, what a look from Boswell. Whew. 34-30 our score at the half. Texas A&M has not lost when leading going into the locker room. Let's into the studio. Here's Dari Noka and the crew. Back in Knoxville at the half, Tennessee and Texas A&M, a Tuesday night SEC battle. Aggies in front by 4, trying to get to a 4-0 start in conference play. Alongside Damian Fishback, I'm Richard Cross. Thanks so much for being with us. You talked a lot about style in the first half. What was the style of this game going to look like? What did we see in the first 20 minutes?
Yeah, the style was Tennessee finally starting to get their rhythm on the offensive end created by the defensive end. They ended up turning over the Aggies 6 times in that first half, which was key to their offense getting much better. The Aggies started out turning teams over and really were hot from behind the three-point line. You think about Ruben Dominguez. You mentioned he knocked down 10 threes early in the season. Jakari Lane made huge shots. They had a total of 7 3-pointers. So Bucky McMillan said 15 for the game. They're close to halfway there. I think these first 4 minutes are going to be crucial, as in every game. But the truth is, with Bucky McMillan and Texas A&M style, the entire half is going to be a game of runs.
Texas A&M has not lost this year. They're 12-0 when leading at the half. A little bit different animal tonight on the road in Knoxville against a Tennessee team that, at least in the second half of the first half, looked like they were playing with a little more desperation.
Yeah, I don't, they were playing with desperation from the beginning. They just didn't know how to play with this style. But you see they were dominant on the glass, right? 27-16. If they continue to do that, it's going to be hard for Tennessee not to leave here with the victory.
Volunteers basketball to start the second half, down 4, 34-30. Gillespie had an open look, turned it down, gets into the lane and kicks it out. Into the corner, Amen, 3 ball, too strong, but a loose one grabbed. And Tennessee able to keep the possession alive. Here's Gillespie from deep. And almost got the friendly roll. Texas A&M able to clear it. That's Marcus Hill with the rebound.
Interesting enough, Coach Rick Barnes starting out Nate Amen at that 4 position. We'll see how that matchup continues to transpire as the game goes on.
Foul on Amari Abram called for the bump. It's his first of the game.
Yeah, Tennessee just trying to come out and be feisty defensively, trying to continue where they left off in the first half.
Big rebounding advantage for the Volunteers, plus 11. They out-rebounded Texas A&M 28-17, and that included 13 offensive rebounds. Kari Lane partially blocked. Now Tennessee off and running. Abram into the lane, the floater off the back iron. Amen got the rebound, and he was fouled on the way back up.
I really like this look of Nate Amen at that 4 position in this game in particular, because look at the difference in size. I mean, Jakari Lane was just looking like, I can't do anything about it, right? AG was going to try to, but ended up getting a foul. Nate Amen can be really good on defense and offense. You can see why he's a projected lottery pick right now.
They hear the boos from the Tennessee fans. They wanted free throws there. Thought it was a shot attempt. Amen coming off a 17-point performance on the road against Florida in a loss on Saturday. Started tightly, trying to feed it, and he forced it in. Trying to go to Akpara. Turnover by Tennessee. And then knocked away in transition. A&M will inbound just in front of our buddy Dane Bradshaw. Dane Bradshaw with the night off, taking some basketball in courtside.
You're not surprised that he's sitting where only the big money seats are, right? I don't know if you can get a better seat.
You did that to him. You did that to him.
I'm just saying, that's how you get those seats now.
That one rolls off the rim. Point blank miss that time for Ryland Griffin.
Yeah, they'll want that one back. That's a basket they're going to need, and look what it leads to. A 4-point swing.
Bishop Boswell with the sweep up and under. Makes it a 2-point game. Tennessee strikes first in the second half. Lane gives it off. 3 on the way, and good. How pure was that from Ruben Dominguez?
Well, he's one of the sharpshooters that we have in the SEC.
A steal and a bucket.
Yeah, just asleep at the wheel. Nate Ament that time. Second turnover. Really looking like a freshman here. But he's got to have his teammates help him. I took the basketball out of bounds as well, and it's very difficult against a defense like this if guys don't get open.
Ament trying to get it in, and he will take a timeout. No, did not get the timeout in time. Chuck Jones says 5-second violation. Keeping score at home. That's 3 of those in this game for Tennessee.
Let's take a look, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not on Nate Ament. Jacoby Gillespie, Felix Okpara, they all got to get open a lot quicker than that.
Dominguez catches, fires. This one off the mark. It's tipped around. AG ends up with it. He wants to go up strong. That's going to be a goaltend.
That was an angry goaltend by Felix Okpara.
I mean, looked like he was on a pogo stick. He exploded up.
He took it out on the basketball.
But points for the Aggies nonetheless. Gillespie guarded by Hill, all 94 feet.
When Gillespie gets the basketball like that, you either got to get out of the way so that they're not trapping and just allow him to go one-on-one.
Offensive foul on Tennessee. That is going to go against Okpara. That is now 10 turnovers for the Volunteers.
Yeah, for Felix Okpara, you know, he has to be set, and then the guard has to make sure that he's set as well. And Rick Barnes talking to Doug Shows and feels like that it should not have been a moving screen.
.7-0 run for Texas A&M. Tennessee's turned it over 3 times in less than a minute. Agee working inside, and he has it ripped away. Well, that was defended well that time by Boswell.
Yeah, it was. Let's see if they use some of their speed now. They match up pretty well with A&M now.
Boswell just beat to the spot that time by Marcus Hill. Jakari Lane thought about the transition 3. Daly pulls the trigger. Rebound from Ament, and a foul on Hill.
There you go, young fella. You know, there's a lot of concerns about how tough, how physical Nate Ament is. The truth of the matter is, tough isn't throwing a punch or throwing an elbow. Tough is just being strong with the basketball. Tough is going up, and if you don't get a call from the official, you finish the play anyway. Tough is running the floor every time. It's boxing out every time. And so that's all that Nate Ament has to do to continue to strengthen his reputation in regards to being physically and mentally tough in between the lines.
Sometimes it means going to get a hard rebound. That's what he did there. 5th rebound of the game, which is better than his season average. Tennessee's turned it over 4 times in the last 5 trips down the floor. Bishop Boswell.
13 seconds, and Tennessee just now getting into their offense. That's also part of the defense that the Aggies have.
Gillespie, 3-ball from the wing. That's a big one. Tipped around and touched last by the Vols.
And you can see on this Jacoby Gillespie 3, a nice screen set that time. It was just enough by Jalen Carey. He didn't move on the screen, but he's so big and wide that it made it hard for Ruben Dominguez to get around. What are you laughing at?
He You need a turn signal going around Carey. That's high body.
That's pretty good.
Dominguez catch and shoot from deep. Yeah, he's feeling it tonight. Dominguez, a veteran international player. 150 professional games under his belt. Here you are again, deep into the shot clock. Tennessee trying to get into an offensive set.
Yeah, that's part of the buckyball recipe.
Down to 5. On the drive, and it hit the side of the backboard, but there's a foul. Bailout foul at the very end. Bishop Boswell headed to the free throw line. It's a 6-point lead for Texas A&M on the road at Rocky Top. Ruben Dominguez has had a big game tonight for Texas A&M. He's made 3 threes and also was fouled on a 3 where he made all 3 of his free throws. 12 points for him, and he is one of the guys in the SEC that can shoot it from deep, and there are a bunch of them.
Yeah, I like these snipers, right? SEC sharpshooters. Jacob Cruz, he really came out of his shell last year where he hit 8 threes. Continues to play well. Tyler Nickel, one of the most dangerous shooters in the country. He changes the dynamic of the Commodores, as well as Ruben Dominguez. Aiden Holloway, how about the progress that he's made under Coach Nate Oates and continues to climb? And then Nigel Pack made that Final Four run with Miami. His range starts when he walks in the gym. And that's what's unique about all of those players. Like when we put them up as sharpshooters, they can shoot it with range as well. You know, they don't have to hug that three-point line. Jacoby Gillespie, one of those guys who, you know, if he gets around that Tennessee logo, you had better be having your hand up to protect him.
No surprise to see Texas A&M take a lot of deep shots. That's what this team does. 67% of their field goal attempts tonight have been three-point shots. Tennessee comes up with the loose ball there, then it's thrown off the foot of Pop Isaacs. A missed free throw, but another offensive rebound. 15th of the game for the Vols.
Well, the Vols, you know, they start out with 5 turnovers in this second half. 0 points off of turnovers, and their turnovers lead to 4 points for A&M to start the second half, and the Aggies only have 1 turnover. Same recipe of how the Aggies started the game.
Felix Akpara. You saw the aggression on the shot block attempt a few minutes ago. He just took the aggression out on the rim.
And what happened was you saw Rashawn Agee as well as Pop Isaacs. Neither one of them were able to get there and help on time. And that's what you call a naked ball screen, because there's really no help side. And what you had was you had Rashawn Agee as well as Pop Isaacs. They were all occupied on that other side of the floor, which allowed that easy alley-oop play.
Zach Clements picked up his 3rd foul. True with the free throw. He's now got 7 points. Tennessee has cut it to 3. Tennessee turning up the volume on defense as well. Clements, good looking 3, but he left it short. Akpara strong for a rebound, making his presence felt. Passes out of the double team in the corner. Tennessee avoids the turnover. A double team down low, no whistle, and the Vols keep the possession alive. Carey might have been better advised to try and find a teammate, but there was nowhere for him to go. Tried to muscle it up.
Yeah, and I think Chuck Jones is taking a look at the shot clock to see if it should have reset or not.
Because it reset to 30.
The clock is under review.
Thank you, Doug Shouse.
Let's see if there was a real change of possession or not. Pretty good save that time by Boswell. Jalen Carey was not passing this basketball.
After review, there'll be 10 seconds on the shot clock. Ball out.
So the ball never hit
Tennessee.
the rim and no change of possession.
Correct. Nice job by our officiating crew. Again, Doug Shiles, Will Howard, and Chuck Jones. Nice free timeout for Coach Rick Barnes to try to set up a play, and for Bucky McMillan to try to set up a potential element of surprise.
Game one of a doubleheader tonight on the SEC Network. Alabama and Mississippi State from Humphrey Coliseum in Starkville when we get finished here in Knoxville. Now we're on ESPN2. Florida on the road against the Oklahoma Sooners, who lost to this Aggies team on Saturday. Oklahoma trying to defend the home floor. Their one win came at home against Ole Miss to open SEC play. Gillespie, he saw a straight line and said, "I'll take it."
Yeah, beautiful basketball.
.41 apiece with 14:20 to play. A whistle and a foul on Tennessee. Jacoby Gillespie picks up his first.
Once again, a nice set play where there was actually no help side that time, and that's actually really good defense. Just a little bit too much hands that time, and Chuck Jones right there on the call.
These are two teams that are averaging far more than they've got on the scoreboard right now. Texas A&M, 93.7 points per game. I told you Carey was a big man. I just didn't know he was going to sit in our laps.
Well, let me tell you something. At 267 pounds, and this guy certainly has a chance of putting on some football pads sometime during his career. My goodness.
That's a turnover off the inbound, and it's going to be Tennessee basketball.
I love the fact that Tennessee is bringing pressure back to the Aggies. They always say that a lot of times teams that press don't like to be pressed.
A&M came in scoring 93 a game. Tennessee came in scoring 82 a game. We're tied at 41 with 14 minutes to play. From the corner, big three for Pop Isaacs.
That's so difficult to defend. That's just not what most people would consider a good shot.
Double team. Who touched it last? It was Shakari Lane. Shakari Lane is asking his head coach to try and get a challenge or a review in there. Chuck Jones has no interest in that. Pace slows for a moment. Tennessee trying to possibly tie it up. Ament knocked to the ground. No foul. Tennessee will keep it on the offensive end. Bucky McMillan wants a review here. He thinks that was touched last by the Vols and is trying to steal that possession.
The previous out of bounds is being challenged by the visiting team.
Texas A&M leading at 44-41 alongside Damian Fishback. Richard Cross with you on this Tuesday night in Knoxville. With the break on the floor, we're going to take one as well. A&M in front by 3 with 13:35 to play. You had a Texas A&M coach's challenge as we went to the timeout. The call on the floor was overturned, so it was a successful challenge. Texas A&M gets the basketball, and you got to be careful when you use those this year.
Yep, and he'll retain his timeout for that. He can do it again. Let's take a look at the two extra defenders here. So when the ball comes in, take a look here. You're going to have a sideline which is acting like 2 extra defenders. Now let it play.
After further review, the call has been overturned. It will be Texas A&M's ball on the baseline. They do retain an additional challenge.
Doug just told us what we had told you all. And then once the basketball came in, the Texas A&M defenders were like 2 additional defenders. So when you have the sidelines behind you, it's one of the worst places that you can enter the basketball because you actually have 2 defenders on the floor and then the inline and the sideline that's an additional defender. That's part of Bucky basketball. That's where they want you to throw the basketball in.
If you have to go there, you got to pass out of that quickly before that trap gets there, right? That's
Yep.
what you're trying to do?
Absolutely.
Texas A&M with a 3-point lead and the ball. Closing in on 13 minutes to play. Pop Isaacs guarded by Ament. Gets the screen help from Agee. Shot clock down to 7. Tipped around and Tennessee gets the steal.
Nate Ament is really doing a tremendous job as a defender. I think he can be an elite defender with his length, his size, and his speed.
Akpara again. He has come to life in the second half.
Are we seeing the leader for Tennessee?
You've been asking the question. Feed inside to Agee, and he is fouled on the way up. Jalen Carey got him on the arm.
Well, we talked about Tennessee going inside earlier. It doesn't have to be off the pass. This is good penetration now. It's a fortunate bounce and pass to Felix Akpara, but I love the fact that Jacoby Gillespie is taking the basketball inside. He's not settling from the perimeter. Look at how big they are. Felix Akpara is so much bigger than Jalen Carey. The difference in the size for those two is tremendous. And so if you're Felix Akpara, you take the basketball inside at 6'11" versus Rashawn Agee, who's really only 6'7". Bucky McMillan said he's really 6'5" and 3/4 with his shoes off.
I got 6'8" written down, so somebody was fibbing a little bit somewhere. Pretty good stroke for the big man, though. Couple of free throws.
Look, it comes out anyway when you go to NBA camp. No matter how much you try to stretch that neck, they take those shoes off and you are what you are.
Tennessee trying to get it across half court, and then that's a foul on Agee, and that's not one that you want 45 feet from the bucket. Tennessee was in scramble mode just to get it across the half court stripe in front of the 10 seconds. That's 3 fouls now on Rashawn Agee.
Yeah, with 12:32 left to go in the game, he'll be taken out by Bucky McMillan. I think it's smart. He's a critical piece. He's a critical piece defensively, offensively. He completes their defensive possessions with the defensive rebound. He can really guard 1 through 5.
Tennessee is plus 15 on the board. They've out-rebounded Texas A&M 35-20, and they've got 15 offensive rebounds.
Chest move. Switch to the zone defense by Bucky.
Who touched it last? It was off A&M, so Tennessee will keep it with 1.7 on the shot clock. 15 offensive rebounds feels like a big number, but that's the 10th time this year that Tennessee has had at least that many on the offensive glass. Gillespie wide open, couldn't knock it out. And then a foul underneath. Boswell on the push.
Yeah, those offensive rebounds, you know, I was watching the Florida-Tennessee game, which is why I said that I think Florida still may be the best team in the country. And that's a tough break for Tennessee. It looked like Pop Isaacs was going out on his own. But those offensive rebounds sound good from a statistical category, but it also means you're missing a lot of shots. And right now, the Tennessee Volunteers are 4 of 18 from behind the three-point line. Aggie's not a lot better at 9 of 28, so the difference in 32% and 22%.
Neither team shooting it particularly well for the game. 34% from the field for Tennessee. Here's a 3 from the corner all the way, and that's an air ball that time from Ryland Griffin. Overshot everything. Tennessee wants to run, but they turn it over.
This is a prime example of being lulled into the style and the game of Texas A&M Aggies. Tennessee wants to play fast, but Rick Barnes is over there telling them, we don't want to play that fast. Boswell, come sit down with me for a second.
3-point game in Knoxville. Texas A&M in front, trying to get to 4-0 to start conference play. They're 3-0 for the first time since they have joined the SEC. We are into a new calendar year. It's 2026. It's time for the debut of Fish Facts.
Yeah, Richard, this one is easy. It's that retention requires real relationships.
I love the alliteration.
All of the quality teams now, and you may say, well, you know, Texas A&M's 3-0 in league play, and they didn't have any retention. He created a whole new team. But Rick Barnes' success, back-to-back Elite Eight, came from his retentions. Guys like Zakai Ziegler, Santiago Vescovi. You even go outside the league. You look at UConn, Alex Caravan, Solo Ball, Terrence Reed. You go to Purdue, Fletcher Lawyer, Braden Smith. Retention requires real relationships, and you better have them as players and coaches.
Shakari Lane with a strong bucket there. How many times have you heard Seth Greenberg through the years say, get old and stay old? It's harder than it's ever been in college basketball to do that.
Yeah. And there's got to be some balance. There's got to be some balance on both sides. I think I love young people being able to make money, but they have to be accountable. They've got to find a way to have young people be committed, just like a coach has to be committed. If he leaves, there has to be a consequence when he leaves. And we've got enough thinking heads and leaders in our game to figure it out, because I do think we still have an excellent game. The scoring's up. You've got guys that used to leave college basketball, and now they're wanting to come back to college basketball.
Pretty good payday for a lot of guys.
Excellent payday.
The idea of loyalty and commitment, not universally, but in a lot of cases, feels like kind of a foreign concept right now. It's the reason that you've asked the question. Rick Barnes told us he's still trying to figure out who his leader is on this team. 11 new faces. But in fairness, on the other side, Texas A&M, it's an entirely new roster. That's a big three for Troy Henderson, one of the freshmen on this team.
Yep. Right now, he's got 3 freshmen in the basketball game. I like freshmen. People are giving up on freshmen. I think that is definitely a mistake.
Rylan Griffin looking for the answer. A 2-point game with 10.5 to play. A&M trying to get one on the road tonight in the SEC. That is an illegal screen by J.P. Estrella. Another turnover for Tennessee. That is their 15th.
Well, this is a freshman here going to another freshman. Give credit, Amari Evans doing a nice job of getting into the teeth of the defense. 6'5", 220-pound freshman. And then you look at Troy Henderson, 6'1", 186 pound, out of Richmond, Virginia. These are 2 guys that are going to continue to get better. And guess what? Real relationships will be able to help retain them, and they'll be even better next year.
J.P. Estrella picked up the foul there. He has not scored. He was huge in the win against Texas a week ago. This went into the backcourt, and that's a backcourt violation. So a turnover by Texas A&M, their 9th.
Well, this game, as much as it started out in the first half and early in the second half being more of an Aggie style, is turning into more of a Tennessee style, lower scoring game, holding teams to around 68 points per game. And those 15 threes that Bucky McMillan was looking for are hard to come by.
Foul on A&M as Tennessee was trying to inbound it. Something to watch in the final 10 minutes of this game. Points off turnovers. Right now, Texas A&M has 19 points off of Tennessee's 15 turnovers. Tennessee 15 off of 9 for the Aggies. When scoring more points off turnover this year, Tennessee is 9-0. When the opponent has more points off turnovers, the Vols are 2-5.
Yeah, I think that, along with the bench points, is a testament to the Volunteers, right? The Aggies come in averaging about 42 bench points per game. They only have 12 tonight.
Tennessee in the bonus the rest of the way. That was the 7th team foul on Texas A&M. But a missed opportunity there on the front end of the 1-and-1. Talked about the free throw shooting struggles for Tennessee. 15th in the SEC. As Texas A&M takes a timeout to talk about things. .55 remaining. It's a 2-point lead for A&M, and at the point where possessions matter a lot. So Texas A&M is going to take a full timeout here.
And I absolutely love this timeout. I was watching film of Texas versus Tennessee when Tennessee was able to get this win, and obviously Jacoby Gillespie went off for 30-plus points. And Sean Miller used his last timeout at the 9:30 mark, and a lot of people may have been questioning, why don't you save your timeout? I love the fact that he went for it. And I think it's a similar situation here. For Bucky McMillan, you're on the road, you have the lead. Before you give up a lead in front of a crowd of, 13, 14, 15, however many thousand people are here tonight, you want to gather your guys, regroup, and put them in their best position to score. That's why he called that timeout with 9:55 left.
Good crowd on this Tuesday night. Not capacity. Students are not back yet on campus. That makes a difference.
Well, it's a phenomenal crowd with the students not being back yet. And let's be frank, this is one of the best fan bases in all of college basketball. They continue to sell it out. They continue to show up regardless who Tennessee's playing, regardless if a football team or a baseball team or anybody else. They show up and they fill up the Food City Center.
We were talking about it earlier. If you came to Thompson Bowling, 15 years ago, and you walk in Food City Center now and you look around, you're like, this can't be the same building. It's the same on the outside, but it is a palace on the inside.
Yeah, they spent some of that Ron Slay money in here. They got it looking good now.
Anything named after him in here?
If not, they got to find something. They need a sleigh ride. They need a sleigh ride section.
3 on the way. That's Pop Isaacs with a big triple.
And Richard Cross, that is why you call a timeout. They stifled the momentum of Tennessee getting the lead, and now they pushed a 2-point lead back out to 5.
3 Aggies in double figures. Jakari Lane leading the way with 13. Dominguez has got 12, all of them in the first half. Pop Isaacs now with 11. Jacoby Gillespie, the only Vol in double figures at this point. He's got 13. I see a little stagnant on the offensive end. They hand it off to Henderson. Now Amen. All the way to the rim with the left hand.
Very simple. That's 6'6" Ruben Dominguez versus 6'10" Nate Amen. He needs to live in the paint. Whether it's off the bounce or off the catch, he needs to attack the basket.
Lane tried to go off the bounce, guarded tightly by Gillespie. Little pick and roll to AG. Shot clock at 10. Pop Isaacs just had the big 3 a moment ago. Looks down low. He finds Hill inside off the window.
Unbelievable. He just kind of creeped along that baseline.
Can you give an assist and a half there? Because that vision was impressive.
Yeah. Pop Isaacs played a lot of basketball.
Hill with a little bump in the backcourt. Fans wanted the call. They didn't get it.
Well, and that's what makes the style impressive when you think about the Arkansas Razorbacks and Kentucky Wildcats. It's hard to call all of the fouls when people are harassing you 94 feet.
You think Nolan Richardson's teams fouled a little more than they got called for back in the 40 minutes of hell days?
Oh, my goodness. This is what you like, though. No foul here. Nate Amen just strong to the basket. Now, he still fades a little bit with the left. I wish he'd go up, use that shoulder, and go into the chest of Ruben Dominguez. At 6'10", 207 pounds, there's no reason for him to shy away from contact.
Hill got the bucket off the nice assist, and then he got the trailing block just a moment ago. Now Texas A&M with a late substitution. Jamie Vinson going to come in, giving AG a break.
Well, keeping AG from potentially getting his 4th foul.
That's right.
Looks like he's doing a little defense for offense or offense for defense exchange.
Boswell gets it to Amen. We see it again. He's looking for that seam in the lane. Henderson with a strong drive and a left-handed finish.
Beautiful basketball.
Hill draws the foul.
Man, Marcus Hill does a nice job of just quietly tiptoeing across that sideline. Right now, the Aggies holding on to a 3-point lead.
Texas A&M has never trailed tonight in Knoxville. We were tied at 0. We were tied at 15. Aside from that, the Aggies have led for the duration. One of the kind of unknown traditions in SEC basketball, it's kind of legendary, manager games. Yep. Rylan Jones, a manager on this Texas A&M team.
You caught him yawning, Richard.
Well, after the output that he had last night, he's tired.
How about that? So we were talking to Bucky about him, and he said not only is their manager team 5-1, but they're undefeated, just like their Aggies in league play. He's a great story, Rylan Jones, who actually came over and ended up playing with Bucky McMillan when he was at Samford, led Samford to their first NCAA tournament in over 25 years, and has ended up following Bucky McMillan over to Texas A&M. Bucky said he's going to be a head coach in the SEC one day. I thought that was a strong statement, but a nice, sharp guy, and a guy who's still putting up buckets versus the other managers.
Are we sure that he has eligibility?
I don't know. Hey, anybody can come back now.
Had that epic NCAA tournament game against Kansas. A couple of free throws from Marcus Hill pushed the lead back out to 5. Amen. Knocked to the floor.
Hope he's okay.
Ali Deba with his first foul of the ball game. Got his money's worth on that one. Amen. A little slow getting up.
Now that is something that Nate Ament will have to get adjusted to. Those three-point shots are a lot less physical than this. When you go to the basket, you're going to get bumped. You're going to get hit, and that was an incredible bump by Deba. But what does he get? Opportunity to score while the clock is stopped at the free throw line.
Ament has started every game this year for Tennessee, but he missed the front end of the 1-1. That's twice. Tennessee had a 1-on-1 opportunity and missed the front end.
Yeah, I think he's pressing a little bit. Good pass.
Holloway pulls it out. A&M recycles. Pop Isaacs into the corner. Marcus Hill made some big plays in the last few minutes. Isaacs straight on 3 won't go. And a rebound for Tennessee and a foul immediately on A&M. That's another one on Deba.
Doug Show's right there on the call, and you know, maybe some frustration right now by the Aggies, and they really should be frustrated. They've worked hard, got a nice 5-point lead here in a hostile environment, but they're -16, the Aggies are. So give credit to Tennessee. They're winning the rebounding war 39-23, and they're also winning the points in the paint 22-16.
Put the foul on the wrong guy. It was actually Marcus Hill that was called for the foul, and it's going to send Gillespie back to the free throw line. 9th foul on Texas A&M. 3rd time that Tennessee has had a 1-and-1 opportunity. They missed the front end of their first 2 chances.
Tennessee fans don't like all these substitutions. And we talked about Tennessee's free throws of late, you know, earlier, 77%, 7-1 was the result of them shooting well, and 17 percentage points later in December and January, and they've been more 500 tonight. 12 of 16 now, shooting much better from the free throw line.
I think I can do that math. 75%. That's a number you can live with.
Yeah.
Tennessee trying to avoid a 1-3 start in conference play. Texas A&M already their best start at 3-0 since joining the SEC. They're trying to make it 4-0, and I have to do it on the road. AG into the corner. Hill, 3, no. Ament trying to go for that rebound, and he is called for a foul. He kind of pinned Dominguez with the right arm as he tried to reach out with that big left paw and grab the loose ball.
Yeah, Doug Show's getting in between Felix Okpara and Rashawn Agee. Rashawn Agee is the enforcer for Texas A&M. And the crowd saw something that we didn't see. maybe there's a little additional activity after that rebound. But we questioned who the leader was. And for Tennessee, Felix Okpara, I think, is standing up for his team and saying, we're not going to back down.
Ruben Dominguez, the leading free throw shooter for the Aggies at 91.4%, and he misses the front end of a 1-and-1.
That was definitely the announcer's jinx.
Come on, man.
Just playing, man. Now A&M's out of that zone. They're guarding Jacoby Gillespie. Are they in a boxing one?
5 on the shot clock. Ament with it winding down, trying to get to the rim. Hesitates, and he gets the roll.
That's what I've been waiting to see. You're 6'10", man. Go to the basket and take over the game.
1-point game in Knoxville, and it's a turnover. Tennessee with a chance to take their first lead. Ament thought about the three, turned it down.
Get back to that paint. You're bigger, you're stronger, you're better.
Tennessee resets as they spread things out.
Man, that happens at least 1 to 2 times a game.
Step on the sideline.
Where they just literally step on the sideline. But Nate, amen. This is what I mean when I say you are 6'10". There is no way that Marcus Hill at 6'3" should be able to stop you from getting to your spot on the floor and you go up and over the top. Not with your skill set, not with your size, length, and your ball handling ability.
16 turnovers tonight for the Volunteers. That's on the heels of 18 against Florida on Saturday. Isaacs trying to feed it inside. He threw it away. Tennessee trying to get the run out. A 3-on-1. No whistle inside. Oh, there was a whistle. Crowd got going and couldn't hear it. Chuck Jones blew the whistle. Free throws coming up for Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee stepping it up on the defensive end and again going to the basket, forcing the issue a little bit. And sometimes that's what you have to do, similar to a boxer. If you've got an opponent who does a nice job of guarding himself, sometimes you got to go to the body for a little bit before you're able to open up with a couple of blows, a right cross or a left hook. And that's what they've done now. They're softening up this defense of the Texas A&M Aggies a little bit.
We're tied for the first time since 15-15. Bishop Boswell with a chance to give Tennessee its first lead of the game with 5:30 remaining. Too strong. Offensive rebound and another foul. Amen. Pulled down the rebound and AG called for his fourth.
Yeah, that's a big call. With 5:29 left to go. And now Coach Bucky McMillan has a decision to make, which is a tough decision because we talk about rolling the dice a little bit. 5:29, you're hanging on. You've had the lead for the majority of this game, the whole game.
Amen puts Tennessee in front by 1. Nine points now for the freshman, Nate Ament from Manassas, Virginia. 3 times this year he's been named SEC Freshman of the Week, a unanimous 5-star player, a consensus top 5 player, and the #1 player out of the state of Virginia. Lane nowhere to go, looking for help, gets it to Dominguez. Now Griffin driving into the lane, kicks it to the corner, extra pass to Dominguez, 3 on the way. Good! Ruben Dominguez with his 4th 3 of the night.
Ice water in his veins. Outstanding poise and patience by the Aggies.
A timeout taken by Tennessee to avoid another 5-second violation.
Well, Ruben Dominguez has won both the silver and gold medal in FIBA under 16 and under 19 competition. And you can tell that he's very comfortable. Look at him. He says, calm down, fellas. I got this under control. And is able to give the Aggies the lead with 4:52 left to go in this game.
Dominguez tops in the SEC and 10th nationally. making 3.6 threes per game. He effectively has 5 tonight because he got fouled on a 3 and made all 3 free throws. Officially 4 of 8 from behind the arc for the sophomore from Puerto Real, Spain.
Yeah, and that's what makes the Aggies team a difficult scout and difficult to prepare for, because it could be Ruben Dominguez one night, Pop Isaacs the next night, Marcus Hill the following night. You know, you've got so many guys. Rylan Griffin, we know what he did when he was at Alabama and then Kansas, and now he's back here in the SEC. So many guys that can hurt you.
58-57, a 1-point game. Tennessee just took its first lead. And then the 3 by Texas A&M put the Aggies back in front.
Nice poise and patience that time by the freshman.
Ament hands it off to Gillespie, a senior. Back close to home. He grew up in Greenville, Tennessee. Ament, turnaround, baseline, jumper, rattles it home. He's in double figures. Ament's now got 12. Lane dumps it inside. Clements, turnaround, got the hook shot to go.
Something else that happens in buckyball, because of the style they play, oftentimes they find mismatches. They found one there and went to the right one.
The lob, and Akpara has it knocked away, but he's fouled on the way to the rim. Zach Clements with the foul. That is his 4th. Texas A&M with a 1-point lead.
Yeah, Zach Clements with the foul, but after Nate Ament goes to that sweet mid-range jump shot, Zach Clements comes back and is bigger, better, and stronger.
Time to check out the Good Hands plays brought to you by Allstate. This Texas A&M team loves to shoot threes. They've made 11 of them tonight.
Well, it's part of their recipe, right? And what makes them so challenging to guard is because they come from so many different people. It can be Pop Isaacs on one play, Ruben Dominguez on another play, Jakari Lane on another one. They've got so many weapons and guys who can knock down the three-point shot over 40 minutes of play that can be very challenging to defend.
Right on their season average, 11.4 threes made per game, 7th best in the entire country. Percentage is off the mark a little bit, 32% from behind the arc. Texas A&M, the 2nd best three-point shooting team in the league at 37.4%. But before any more threes, we've got free throws here as Felix Akpara sitting on 9 points tonight.
This game is so important, and you think, why is it so important? Well, for Tennessee, you think about them trying to get their 2nd SEC victory, you know, not going to 1-3. For A&M, what would it mean to be 4-0 in league play? Bucky McMillan's first year at Texas A&M. But just as valuable, these wins are hard to come by on the backside of SEC play, Richard. They're hard down the stretch.
Akpara gets the roll, makes 1 of 2, and we're tied at 60. Under 4 to play. Hill guarded by Gillespie. 10 on the shot clock. Lane trying to go downhill. Gets it up off the glass. Can't get the shot to go. But he draws contact and has free throws coming up. Bishop Boswell whistled for the foul.
He looks to be in pain. He's asking to come out.
Holding that left arm close to his body. He may need a minute. Boswell going to try to stay in the game and gather himself.
I don't know if that's the left arm look.
Well, he was just holding the left arm close to his body.
Yeah, that's the midsection look.
I'm just going to let you hang on that one for a second.
Yeah.
Boswell able to stay in. Called for the foul and took a shot.
Free throw's big, not only to try to give the Aggies a 2-point advantage, but to also allow them to set up their pressure. Here it comes.
Kobe Lane got them both. Jakari Lane, I beg your pardon. Marcus Hill with a bump and a foul.
And that's the risk that you take with playing this for 40 minutes, right? Tennessee's down 2, they're at home, you know, and let's say 90 feet from their basket, you allow them to simply walk down and go to the free throw line to score instead of having to work harder to score. You have to take the good with the bad with this style. But those are the plays that you don't want, and I'm sure Coach Bucky McMillan's talking to his guys about that.
Boswell may have already been a little uncomfortable, crashed hard to the floor there, but he can't get the roll at the free throw line.
71% on the night of the Volunteers, so they've taken advantage. I'm sure Coach Rick Barnes is frustrated, though, and another game of 16 turnovers after 18 turnovers in the previous game. And the Aggies have 19 points off of those 16 turnovers.
Boswell makes 1 of 2. He's got 8 points. Tennessee 3 more makes. And Texas A&M has attempts from the line. Pop Isaacs trying to draw the foul, and he does. Fans don't like that. Isaacs realized he got his man Troy Henderson in the air. He initiated the contact but gets the whistle.
Well, Will Howard on the call here. Step back. And you know what? Without question, Pop Isaacs jumps forward. He certainly jumps forward. But the truth of the matter is, the freshman from Richmond, Virginia, Troy Henderson, you've got to stay on your feet that time. Once you leave your feet, you allow yourself to be vulnerable for the officials to make that call. And that's probably what Coach Gainey's over there telling him now.
After review, the call on the floor stands. It's a 3-point shot.
So they were checking to see whether the shot was from behind the arc. Pop Isaacs stayed behind the line, and so he's got 3 free throws coming up.
So this is a learning opportunity at home, right? The closeout. He definitely jumps into him, but he comes into Pop Isaacs' space. Pop Isaacs has a right to take a step forward and shoot that shot. They used to always tell you at basketball camps when you were little kids, you don't leave the floor until your offensive guy leaves the floor. You jump up after he jumps up. It's a pretty good message for young players.
Pop Isaacs now with 12 points. Leads his first free throw attempts of the game, left the second one short.
Oh, they're screaming for the Chick-fil-A right now.
They want the chicken, and Pop Isaacs complies. Still a 2-point game. And 3 free throws, made the first, missed the second 2.
For that type of response from the crowd, I'd offer some more Chick-fil-A here in the Food City Center. Aggies back into that matchup zone. If you're Tennessee, you want to get to the center of the zone.
Strong drive. Gillespie ties it up and has a chance to give Tennessee the lead.
Jacoby Gillespie, from an hour and a half away from here, plays a couple of seasons at Belmont, goes away to Maryland, and has an outstanding season in the Big Ten, and now is back home playing in front of his friends and family that get to come to a lot of games. Those are the stories that you have to love, whether you agree or disagree with the transfer portal. It's good to see him back home.
Jacoby Gillespie Played his high school basketball at Greenville High, about an hour and a half from here. A preseason second team All-SEC player. He's on all the watch lists, the Bob Cousy Award, the Wooden Award, the Naismith Award. Fifth foul on Zach Clements, so his night is done. Tight down the stretch, tied at 63. Jacoby Gillespie a chance to put the Vols in front, and he does. Fifth lead change of the game. All of them have happened in the last 2.5 minutes. Dominguez gets it back to Lane. Lane trying to work downhill, kicks it off right side. Three on the way. Three is good for Rylan Griffin.
Beautiful basketball. Excellent patience being displayed, going from side to side. And once again, we see another careless foul by the Aggies, 90-plus feet away from the Volunteers' basket.
And that's twice in the last, minute or so of game action. As you see Griffin with the big three, where Texas A&M has committed a foul right in front of their own bench.
And those are the ones where, if you're an Aggie fan, you're saying, well, is that really a foul? Every time you trip a player, it's going to be a foul. The officials have to call that. And it's the correct call.
Bishop Boswell. First one's good.
Tell you what, this fan base has really carried this team tonight. As a player, I can't tell you how often in games like this you get an extra lift from your fans. It makes a huge difference.
Boswell got them both tied at 66, our 7th tie of the game. 10th time this year that Bishop Boswell has scored in double figures. Lane guarded by Gillespie. It's cut off. AG gives it back to Dominguez. Akpara defending the perimeter. Lane down the lane. Has it blocked by Amen. But a whistle that you could not hear over the crowd. A foul on Nate Ament. And free throws for Texas A&M with 2:02 to play. Rick Barnes did not like that call.
Give credit to Jakari Lane for taking it to the basket. Oh, yeah, that's a foul. He gets it with his body. And give credit, the fan base is not supposed to like it. But that's why if he had just jumped straight up, then he could have gotten away with that contact. But Nate Ament jumped forward on that foul. Correct call by Will Howard.
And so much of what the fans see is that it was clean at the top. Not necessarily looking for that lower body contact.
Yeah, Slay's in the studio right now saying ball don't lie, Fish.
Lane misses the first. A second free throw coming for Jakari Lane. 15 points tonight. For the senior from Huntsville, Alabama, he missed them both. Maybe ball don't lie, Fish.
Maybe. No, it was a foul. He just missed both free throws. Two big free throws, too.
We've talked about Tennessee's free throws. 3. That one's off the mark for Gillespie. Akpara, they've gotten away with a foul there. Now Texas A&M, chance to take the lead. Tie ball game. AG in the lane, working against Akpara. Gets him off his feet, and then he's able to rattle it home.
Plenty of time. I thought Jacoby Gillespie settled on that last play. Plenty of time for Tennessee to run a set and get the basketball inside.
Henderson lets it fly and drains it. Troy Henderson, the freshman from Richmond, Virginia. "70 seconds to play, a 1-point lead for Tennessee. And a whistle and a foul on the Vols. Free throws coming.
For those coaches who say we only have a certain amount of spots for freshmen, There's another good one right there. Troy Henderson out of Richmond, Virginia. These freshmen are growing up right before our eyes, and talent is talent.
Henderson was a scorer in high school. He had over 2,200 points and 600 assists. Lane makes the first free throw.
All right, real quick, want to jump in. Alabama, Mississippi State at the hump are now underway. You can catch it over on the app. We'll bring it over to our network when we're finished in Knoxville, guys.
All right, Dari. Tied at 69 with 66 seconds to play. Lane got them both. A&M back in front. 8 ties, 8 lead changes.
Can you imagine what type of win this would be for Bucky McMillan? Went into Auburn and Tennessee, 2 teams that have really dominated the SEC along with Alabama the last few years.
A 90-88 win on the Plains a week ago tonight. Trying to do it on Rocky Top with a minute to play. Gillespie. Ball loose on the floor. Tie up, jump ball, possession, arrow, Aggies.
And if you're Jacoby Gillespie, you have got to be stronger with the basketball. He is such a talented player. I'm on record for saying I thought he was the best guard in college basketball, because when I seen him at practice, he could shoot the basketball, he could get to the rim, make good decisions, but he's got to be tighter with that basketball to take care of it.
First turnover of the night for Jacoby Gillespie. He had 4 against Florida on Saturday. A&M with the basketball and the lead. Tennessee looking for a defensive stop. 10 on the shot clock. Lane around the screen. AG rolls to the basket. They feed it to him, but a steal by Tennessee. Akpara ended up with it in his hands.
Got 2 timeouts if you're Coach Rick Barnes.
1 second difference. Shot clock, game clock. A lob batted away off the backboard, and now Tennessee has to foul. They will send Pop Isaacs to the free throw line. If Tennessee had wanted to, they could have held it for basically a last shot.
Well, you don't want a last shot because you're down 1, but you do want a better shot. You want a shot, and this is what I mean when I say you can't be loose with the ball. Listen, that's a tough pass to make anyway. It's like a quarterback trusting his wide receiver. Felix Akpara's got to go get that basketball, but understand game, time, and situation. If you're Jacoby Gillespie, you've got to take care of that ball as the starting point guard and the general on the floor, an extension of your coach for your team, and that's what Rick Barnes, I'm sure, will tell him.
Had not turned it over the entire game. Gillespie with 2 turnovers inside the last minute of this contest. Isaacs missed the first. A 1-point lead. Pop Isaacs, 12 points tonight. Just 1 of 4, now 2 of 5 from the free throw line. Aggies in front by 2.
And Texas A&M calls a timeout, I believe a 30-second timeout. And he's going to want to set up his pressure, realizing that they're up by 2. On the other side for Coach Rick Barnes, now, remember you said before, Richard, talking about taking the last shot? Well, now you've got to go, you've got to move quick but not hurry, right? Because if you don't make the shot, you at least want another opportunity to foul so that you can get another attempt, but you have to get a shot by taking care of the basketball if you're Tennessee.
Also the opportunity for an offensive rebound off a miss. Tennessee with 17 offensive rebounds in the game tonight. You see the reset for the ball game. Tennessee 2 timeouts remaining. A&M's got 1. Both teams in the double bonus. Possession arrow favors the Vols.
I like taking this basketball inside. If you were on the roll, if it was reversed and the Aggies were down 2, then potentially you go for a 3. You're on the road, you go 1 shot and you try to get out of here. But at home, Tennessee, if you go extra minutes, then the advantage goes to you, not to mention the offensive rebounds that you talked about that they can have.
Are you putting the ball in Nate Amet's hands?
No, believe it or not, I'm putting the basketball back in Jacoby Gillespie's hands.
Okay.
And I'm going to set him up potentially with the 2-man game with Jacoby Gillespie, maybe a screen and roll. The challenge is the team you're playing. They're pressuring full court. And so you're going to have to make a decision once you get across half court. What you could do is get across half court and then call a timeout to reset.
Timeout does not advance the basketball to midcourt in college basketball. Here's Ament, bumped all the way down the floor. He threw it up trying to get a continuation. Not going to get that call. They did put it in Ament's hands. Defense kind of dictated that, and he just went straight line toward the rim.
Yeah, you'll be getting that call soon enough, Nate Ament, but not here in college. Obviously, huge free throws right now for Nate Ament, and the question is, if he makes both, what do you do if you're Tennessee? Do you call a timeout so that you get your defense set? If you're the Aggies, I would not call a timeout, but he may have some guys that he wants to substitute offense for defense, and it looks like he does, and he's getting those guys in right now. Jakari Lane, Pop Isaacs, and Ruben Dominguez, all three who have knocked down three-pointers and who are offensive weapons with 13 seconds left to go.
They join AG and Rylan Griffin on the floor. Second free throw coming for Nate Ament. Trying to tie this game at 71 with 13 seconds to play. It spins out, but an offensive rebound and a foul on Texas A&M. We've talked about rebounding all night long. The 18th offensive rebound of the game. Bishop Boswell, the sophomore from Charlotte, off the missed free throw.
Wow. If you're Ruben Dominguez on that play, you were brought in the game for your offense, but you've got to be stronger, tougher, more physical to box out on that free throw attempt or that free throw rebound. 17-4, second chance points.
Tied at 71, 12.2 to play.
Now, if I'm Rick Barnes, I do call a timeout if he makes this. I want my defense set.
Boswell missed the second one. It's loose. Who touched it last? Tennessee basketball with 9.8 to play. Texas A&M players are asking for a coach's challenge. Bucky McMillan, I think, was making sure he had a timeout remaining.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Looks like potentially it was Jacoby Gillespie's
Previous
hand.
out-of-bounds call is being challenged by the visiting team, Texas A&M.
Already once tonight, Bucky McMillan has used a coach's challenge. It was a correct challenge, and so he maintained the opportunity to challenge again.
Let's see. Hits Rylan Griffin's hands. Jacoby, that's out on Jacoby Gillespie.
Griffin had it between two hands, and Gillespie comes in and punches it out.
Yeah, you can always see the direction of the basketball, and that's why Jacoby Gillespie is still trying to go after it towards the end.
As soon as we finish here in Knoxville, we'll send you to Starkville. Mississippi State and Alabama are underway at Humphrey Coliseum. Florida and Oklahoma underway in Norman. But you don't want to miss the finish of this one.
Tell you what, they got a great look that shows the fan base right here in the arena. And it looks like volunteer fans are kind of looking around and saying, it's out on us, guys. Once again, Doug Shows, Will Howard, Chuck Jones all over there checking it out, but it looks pretty clear to me.
That offensive rebound a moment ago for Bishop Boswell. His 9th of the game. That's a new career high. Ties a career high with his 10 points. Both teams have left opportunities at the free throw line. Texas A&M has missed 9 free throws. They're 15 of 24. Tennessee has missed 9 free throws, 23 of 32. A long look here for Doug Shows and Will Howard on what is obviously a critical call, a coach's challenge by Bucky McMillan to overturn the call of Tennessee basketball, which was made on the floor.
So both coaches right now preparing for either direction. We'll see what the officials say. I think it's going to be out on Jacoby Gillespie, but we'll see. But if you're let's take one more look at it. But both coaches are preparing either way. I think the crowd's booing because they want the officials to go ahead and make a decision. But right there, you can see it pushes in that direction with Jacoby Gillespie. It looked like his right hand. But either way, if I'm Coach Rick Barnes in Tennessee, you got to prepare yourself defensively. If the Aggies have the basketball, what defense?
After further review, the call on the floor stands. Tennessee's ball with 10.6 on the game clock.
Well, and the officials must have felt like that it wasn't enough, remember, to overturn the call. But Tennessee fans certainly appreciate it.
You're looking for indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the floor. I think you and I watching that thought you had that. Doug Schow's now explaining to Bucky McMillan, who had to kind of prepare his team in both directions. What are we going to do offensively if we don't get the overturned call?
Yep. And I saw Doug Schow's talking to Bucky McMillan almost to make the expression like, even though Jacoby Gillespie pushed it, that he felt like from whatever view that he saw that it still went off of the hand of a Texas A&M Aggie last.
Texas A&M, because of that coach's challenge, has no timeouts remaining. The failed coach's challenge there. Lob comes in, 71-71. A&M looking for a stop defensively. Tennessee looking for a win. 3-ball off the mark, tipped out of bounds. And we've got overtime in Knoxville. 71-71. Let's play some more.
Yeah, this one deserved an overtime. It felt like it was unfinished, like neither team had won. And so we go to extra minutes. It's well deserved.
Pretty good look for Jacoby Gillespie. Couldn't knock out the three. We've got 5 more minutes on the clock.
All right, so obviously we are going to the app if you're interested in Bama, Mississippi State. State up 8 right now. Josh Hubbard 5 points. Bama's missed the last 6 field goals. When we're finished in Knoxville, we'll bring it to the main network. But let's get you back to Rocky Top. Guys, what a game you've got.
What a game indeed, Dari. Thank you so much. We'll send you to Starkville when we finish in Knoxville, but we are not done yet. 71-71, Tennessee and Texas A&M. Aggies trying to go 4-0 in SEC play for the first time since joining the SEC. Jacoby Gillespie leading the way for Tennessee tonight with 18 points. Jakari Lane's got 17 for the Aggies.
Richard, I think it's worthy that Doug Schow's came over to us, he and Chuck Jones, and said that it had to be indisputable evidence. And when they were looking at it, it looked like that it came off of both the Volunteers and the Aggies' hands at the same time, which is why they gave the Tennessee Volunteers the call.
Boy, A&M had the opening tip, did not full out sprint to the basketball. Tennessee nearly got a steal. It's going to be A&M ball. But Bishop Boswell made that uncomfortable for the Aggies. Three Texas A&M players in double figures, led by Jakari Lane's 17. Gillespie leading the way for 4 players in double figures for Tennessee. He's got 18. AG out front, gets it to Pop Isaacs. Isaacs with a lob. AG off the glass. No. Okpara with the rebound.
Let's see if the Volunteers try to go at Rashawn Agee. He's got 4 fouls, and he's had 4 fouls for a long time.
Zach Clements has already fouled out in this game for Texas A&M. Amen. Around the screen from Okpara. Trying to work down the left side of the lane. Stops, pops, good.
He's figuring it out. Look out, SEC. He's not settling anymore. He's finding his spot.
Tennessee with the first lead in overtime. Isaacs bump, pulls up, 3 on the way. Off the mark for Pop Isaacs. Okpara's got another rebound. It's now a double-double for Felix Okpara. 10 points, 10 rebounds. Trying to undefeated inside to Akpara. A lot of traffic there. Tennessee, though, will keep it, tipped away by A&M.
Texas A&M Aggies had an overtime game against SMU where they really allowed the game to get out of reach. That game was much closer than the ending score indicated. It was a double-digit loss by the Aggies. So I'm interested to see, as you saw that basket by Nate Ament, how the Aggies handle extra minutes here on the road versus the Volunteers.
Ament, 5 on the shot clock. Pulls up off the front iron, and the rebound to Marcus Hill.
Good defense that time by Jakari Lane. Got up underneath Nate Ament with the shot clock going down.
Aggies can't get one to go on the offensive end. Still trail by 2. First overtime game for Tennessee since November of 2022 in the battle for Atlantis. Beat USC in that game. Last SEC overtime game for Tennessee, also in 22, a win against Ole Miss. Vols in front by 2. Bill, how did we get here? Well, Jacoby Gillespie, a big part of it. He's been all over the place tonight for Tennessee. 18 points to lead all scorers.
Well, you know, Jacoby Gillespie has put his team on his back multiple times this year. Most recently against Texas, right? So maybe it's the teams that are from Texas that get him going. But this Texas A&M team, Richard, really started out on fire from behind the three-point line. They've hit 12 threes on the night, so 1 above their average. And they really controlled the game. But Bucky McMillan told us before the game that in order to win this game, they needed to have 15 threes. They're 3 away, and he's got 3 more minutes to get to those threes. You see the 8 lead changes. Lasted 5 minutes of regulation. Tennessee didn't get their first lead until 5:29.
Texas A&M biggest lead of the game was 11 points. That was early in the first half. Tennessee's biggest lead, 2. That is the margin right now. Ament, guarded by Lane. Big size mismatch. Ament pulls up, too strong, and it's Marcus Hill at just 6'3", pulling down the rebound.
Felt like Nate Ament allowed the crowd to rush him that time. He's got to be patient.
3 nearly banked in that time from Ruben Dominguez. He's made 4. Couldn't get that one to go. Only 2 points scored in overtime so far.
Now, Rick Barnes right now is calling whatever play or whatever set he wants. I can tell. I can see this. I've seen this before. It's a set play from Coach Rick Barnes.
Henderson with the shot clock at 5. Pulls up. 3 on the way. No, but an offensive rebound. Then a block inside. Jakari Lane got the block.
Wow. Bishop Boswell, 6'4", Jakari Lane, 6 feet, and blocked his shot.
Agee has it knocked loose, trying to scramble for it, gets it out to a teammate. And Griffin is fouled by Gillespie. Bodies flying all over the place.
This is what you expect, right? And give credit. Both teams extremely feisty. Rashawn Agee loses the ball, dives on the floor for the loose ball. And Jacoby Gillespie catches a little bit of the body of Rylan Griffin, which sends him to the charity stripe.
So Rylan Griffin, an 80% free throw shooter, calmly makes the first. 1 away from tying it at 73 with 1:44 to play. Dominguez goes to the bench. Ali Deba comes back in for A&M. Griffin got them both, 73 apiece.
You can tell Bucky McMillan's got that high school background. I think he's been going offense, defense for about 30 minutes now.
Tennessee has slowed the pace down offensively in this overtime. They've gotten to more of the sets. They get it to Ament. Ament gets into the lane, puts it up, left it short, but it was hit on the arm on the shot. Nate Ament headed to the free throw line.
Well, if you want to be a pro, and Nate Ament is a pro, when you have a guy like Jakari Lane that's 6 feet and you're 6'10", you got to be able to go to work. And you got to be able to go to work every single time until they take him out of the game. And that's a good call. That's an old school move by Jakari Lane, trying to hit the right elbow of Nate Ament.
16 now for Ament with that make. He had 17 against Florida in the last outing. 13th game this year in double figures for the freshman from Manassas, Virginia. McDonald's All-American, part of the 2024 U18 USA national team. They won the gold medal in Buenos Aires. Got them both. Tennessee in front by 2. This Tuesday night crowd on its feet in Knoxville. Akpara, they've gotten away with one there. Isaacs off the screen, dumps it off. Agee off the window, tied at 75.
Outstanding basketball. They saw that in the Texas game, that Tennessee is vulnerable to the middle ball screen in the middle third of the floor. Great set that time by Bucky McMillan.
1 minute left in overtime. $11 ties, 9 lead changes. Gillespie into the lane, finds some space, floats it up, rims out. Texas A&M now with the basketball and a chance to take the lead. Lane turned down to 3. Dominguez won't. Dominguez too strong. Gillespie with the rebound.
Now you wait and hold it to the last shot.
3-second difference, shot clock and game clock. Tennessee's got timeouts if they want them.
I wouldn't use a timeout, not with Bucky ball. I would try to get the basketball to Nate Ament and let him use his size, but he needs time to go to work. You got to get it to him now.
Ament's got it. 3 on the shot clock, 2 to shoot. Ament fade away. Can't get the roll. 45 minutes not enough. We'll put 5 more on the clock. How about double overtime on Rocky Top?
Don't mind that set. I think it was a good set. Nate Ament, you know, he got to a spot on the floor. I thought there was a bump there by Rashawn Agee. You know, he kind of moved into him, but I agree with the no whistle. It wasn't enough for the foul.
Did you see Agee after that bump kind of go alligator arms, hoping not to hear that whistle?
Well, listen, alligator, he's a cat. He's had 9 lives when it comes to him not getting that 5th foul. He's played for probably 10 to 15 minutes with 4 fouls now.
Akpara's got a double-double tonight for Tennessee, 10 points and 12 rebounds, which is the most for him as a Volunteer. His career high is 15. Not a lot of scoring in overtime. Tennessee made 1 shot. Texas A&M made 1 shot. Both teams made 2 free throws. 4-4 in the extra 5 minutes.
You know, this has been a game where we say styles make fights. It's actually been a mixture of styles, right? It's been a Tennessee defensive type game. They have now turned the Aggies over 12 times. They're dominating on the glass like they always do, 51 to 29. That's outstanding. But the threes by the Aggies have continued to keep them in the game, but they still haven't quite gotten to that 15 number.
Texas A&M 12 of 38 from 3. That's 32%.
And take a look at this play right here real quick, Richard. This is what the Aggies continue to do. This middle ball screen, the help's got to be from these 2 guys right here. Let it play, but it's not. Both Jacoby Gillespie and Nate Ament hug their guys. There's no help on that side. You have to do a better job, both of those guys, at keeping your eye on the basketball and catching Rashawn Agee on that middle roll. They've been vulnerable to that middle third ball screen. If they do not do a better job, they're going to see teams use that against them all year long.
Different man in the middle for the jump this time. J.P. Estrella gets the tip, and Tennessee with the first possession in the second overtime. Nate Ament saw a lane, got it off the glass, and got the bucket. Tennessee back in front.
Yeah, he saw Rashawn Agee, too, with 4 fouls.
Three from the corner won't go. There's an offensive rebound, and AG is bumped.
Take a look here, Richard. Right for Sean Agee. It's a smart play. Nate, amen. Hey, this guy's got 4 fouls. Those are those alligator arms you were talking about. He does not want to get that 5th foul, and it's a smart play because look what he does on the offensive end. Gets an offensive rebound and tries to help his team at the charity stripe.
Sean Agee leaves the first free throw short. Agee's got 10 points and 8 rebounds tonight. Playing with 4 fouls. So is Rylan Griffin. Clements has already fouled out for Texas A&M. Second one for Agee is good. It's a 1-point game.
Smart. There goes Bucky McMillan again. Bucky McMillan says, hey, you've got 4 fouls. They're coming at you. Let's try to take you out and see if they forget about you for a little bit. Now, if you're Tennessee, though, I like attacking the glass, the offensive glass, with Rashawn Agee out of the game. Aggies go to a zone.
Federico in the middle of that zone, camped out under the rim. Ament may have gotten away with a push-off, pulls up. Estrella with an offensive rebound. He's trying to get back to the rim, flips it up, tipped around, inside, and it's another rebound. Jalen Carey's the one that came away with it. They say jump ball, possession arrow, Aggies.
How about this? And you got immediate substitution by the Aggies bringing them back in. But this is what I mean. Rashawn Agee is the guy who finishes a lot of defensive possessions for the Aggies. He's the enforcer of that team. Without him in there, I love Tennessee, whose bread is buttered on the offensive glass, and now Rashawn Agee back in the game on the offensive end.
And Federico, with his size, may have altered a little bit down there inside. By the way, the last multiple overtime game for Tennessee, interestingly enough, 2013 at Texas A&M. That was a 4 overtime game. The flip, Pop Isaacs for 3. He had a good look and he buries it.
Nate Ament was correct. He went and helped that time. Again, it was a middle ball screen, but couldn't get out to close out to Pop Isaacs quick enough.
16 points now for Isaacs. Texas A&M with their first advantage in either of the overtime periods, in front by 2. Ament gives it away, gets it back. He's got a lane. He goes right at Agee and gets it off the window. Agee limited because of those 4 fouls. Another bucket for Ament in overtime.
You love to see young fellas grow up. Nate Ament's growing up right before our eyes tonight. Good to see.
21 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Agee going at Carey, picks up his dribble. Dominguez gets it to Lane. Shot clock in single digits. Now at 5. Lane pulls back, gives it away. Shot clock at 1, the 3 on the way, off the front iron, touched last. A foul. A foul on Texas A&M. Pop Isaacs is pleading his case with Doug Shows to no avail. Saying that he got hit in the face. Second foul on Isaacs.
You're not winning that one, Pop Isaacs. Good call by Doug Shows.
Was the foul the little reach at the end where he caught his ankle?
Sure. Love the battle, though. Unbelievable heart being displayed by the David, which is the Aggies in this particular situation, versus Goliath. They're undersized. They're really overmatched at almost every position. I mean, you look at this right now. Jalen Carey, Felix Okpara, Nate Ament tower above every one of those Aggies outside of maybe Rashawn Agee. But they are fighting, scratching, and clawing. It shows the heart of their team.
Bishop
Bucky
Boswell, the sophomore from Charlotte's, had a big game tonight. He's got 13 points and 11 rebounds, a double-double, 2 huge free throws there. Tennessee in front by 2. 2:30 left in the second overtime period. Isaacs off the screen, nowhere to go. Gets it to Agee. Shot clock at 5. Back to Isaacs. He's got to pull the trigger. 3 ball off the mark. Agee, though, with an offensive rebound and then a block by Amen inside. Amen into the front court.
There's no question who's the most talented player on the floor in this basketball game. He can really do whatever he wants. He can take Rylan Griffin right now. He just needs to get to his spot. And the crowd is hollering, take it.
He gives it away. Shot clock at 3. Back to Amen. He's going to pull a long 3. Too strong. Now Pop Isaacs on the run. Thinks about kicking it off. He has his pocket picked, though, by Gillespie. Didn't feel him coming from behind. Was thinking about getting it to Dominguez and had his possession stolen.
I like going to Jalen Carey if I'm Tennessee on this play. He's good at ducking in. You got Rashawn Agee with 4 fouls. He looks like he's gassed out there. Let's see if Tennessee sees it.
Gillespie weaving through traffic, picks up his dribble. Tough fadeaway, left it short. Carey gets the miss, and he gets the roll. Maybe not the way you were thinking, but Jalen Carey comes up with a monster bucket to put Tennessee in front by 4.
Well, that's where Jacoby Gillespie has to continue to get better as a guard and recognize that he had him, but Jacoby went and tried to get it on his own. That's where you got, as a point guard, you continue
The previous
to grow
play is
and
under
learn.
review for potential shot clock violation.
They are reviewing for a potential shot clock violation. 83-79, minute 14 in real time. I thought he got rid of it in time. We'll see.
We'll see. We know we've got a good crew on hand. The good thing for both of these teams is I think they're both gassed.
After further review, the call on the floor counts. The shot for Tennessee's 2 points.
Basket counts. Got it off before the expiration of the shot clock.
Yeah, the only reason I think it even looked close was because it was tipped by Rashawn Agee, but it had already left the hand of Jalen Carey. So, again, these are things you got to continue to learn in the game of basketball. Basketball's evolved. You've got Golden State. You know, you've got an up-tempo style. But when a guy's got 4 fouls and you've got a big guy like Jalen Carey on the interior who can score, you give that a look. And I think that's something that when they watch film again, that the Tennessee Volunteers will go back and understand. On the other hand, though, for the Texas A&M Aggies, you're on the road, you're down 4-possession game. This is a huge possession for Texas A&M.
A lot of stats you can look at in this game, none bigger than rebounding. Tennessee, 56 rebounds. That is plus 23. 23 of those rebounds have come on the offensive glass. Tennessee has not had more than 55 rebounds in a game since 2008. Here we go, a minute 14 remaining, 83-79. Tennessee in front by 4. Lane found a lane, gets it up off the glass. The shot is short, but free throws coming with 67 seconds remaining in this second overtime period.
I said earlier that I didn't know if there was anybody that had a quicker first step than Tyler Tanner from Vanderbilt. Jakari Lane is putting that one to the test. I mean, off of the bounce, he is really quick.
4 fouls now on Jacoby Gillespie. Jakari Lane, 17 points tonight, make it 18. He's now 5 of 7 from the free throw line.
Well, and he shows you the maturity that he has, right? He didn't come down and just try to throw up a 3-point shot. The 6', 178-pound senior from Huntsville, Alabama said, let me get to the basket, either score quickly or go to the charity stripe and be able to knock down a couple of free throws and get the clock stopped.
Hill, Debo, and Federico back in for Texas A&M. Lane missed the second, so still a 3-point advantage. A 1-possession game. Tennessee with the basketball. Texas A&M looking to double team, and Rick Barnes takes a timeout.
Yeah, Rick Barnes came in and saved him.
With the timeout, we'll take one as well. Tennessee in front, 83-80. Thank you and welcome again to Knoxville. Second overtime, 83-80. Tennessee in front. That's 1 point off their biggest lead of the entire game. Nate Ament, 13 points in regulation. He's added 8 in the extra time. He has been a grown man in overtime and the second overtime.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because we were talking to Bucky McMillan, and Bucky was like, you know, Nate Ament had well-deserved hype coming to Tennessee, but he said even he could see that he's still growing, he's still learning, and that's okay. And that's what Nate has done in this basketball game. And so what you're doing right now is, if you're the Aggies, you want to just get one more stop and see if you can force Tennessee into a bad shot. For the Volunteers, your clock is the ally right now. Take your time, get the look that you want. Don't allow the Aggies to force you into a look.
Ament guarded tightly by Griffin. 8 on the shot clock. There's a back tap and a steal by Texas A&M. Josh Holloway knocked it away. Aggies down 3, and now Bucky McMillan will take a timeout, and he's got a high five for Holloway as he comes to the bench.
Yeah, just because that's another big steal. I mean, there's nothing more valuable than a point guard who takes care of the basketball, a quarterback who takes care of the basketball, or running back. Turnovers hurt you no matter the sport. And so right now, whereas if you were Tennessee, if you got to get look, then you at least get more time off of the shot clock or the game clock. Now, you've got the Aggies who can somewhat go 2 for 1, right? There's a 13-second differential in the game clock and shot clock. So if you want to go for a quick 2 and try to score and then play defense, you can do that, versus if you go for a 3 here, that's an option too, but you want to go for the best look.
You don't see a ton of 2 for 1 in college basketball. Texas A&M would have to get the shot off, in about 6 seconds to get a full reset on the shot clock. You see the game reset. Tennessee with 2 remaining timeouts, 1 for Texas A&M. Both teams have been in the double bonus for a long time. Possession arrow facing the Volunteers.
How about our faithful Volunteer to our right, Dane Bradshaw, staying here to the very end? He's committed, right?
Absolutely.
Who do you think's the more committed Vol, Dane Bradshaw or Ryan Slay?
I'll let you decide that. All right, Aggies not playing for the 2 for 1, looking for a good shot.
Well, they're taking this long. They're probably looking for a 3.
Lane on the downhill drive, gets it up off the glass, won't go. Rebound by Carey. Jalen Carey with a big defensive rebound there. Will now head to the other end of the floor for free throws.
And I think you're right, Richard. They weren't looking for a 3. They were just wanting to make sure that they scored, because their DNA allows them to turn teams over. So they were hoping just to get a basket and then get some pressure, potentially turn the Volunteers over, and then foul. Now it's going to probably be a 2-possession game, so now they just have to score quick. And if you're the Volunteers and Jalen Carey, these are 2 huge free throws.
As soon as we finish here, we'll send you to Starkville, but we may be sending you to the studio. 31 seconds left in the half. Alabama and Mississippi State tied at 34. Jalen Carey, junior forward, and his 3rd school in as many years, makes a big free throw there, making it a 2-possession game.
Big fella's really come a long ways.
Misses the second. 20 seconds to play. A&M looking for a quick basket. Jakari Lane knocked to the floor. Gillespie can't believe it. He thought Lane's feet went out from under him. That is the 5th foul on Jacoby Gillespie.
Yeah, that's a foul. Will Howard right there on the call.
Gillespie, the 2nd player to foul out in this game. Zach Clements did in regulation for Texas A&M. Showing the replay on the video board here. Vols fans did not agree with Will Howard's decision.
Well, he was certainly on his way down, but the fact of the matter is that Jacoby Gillespie still hit him. Like, if you see a player going down, don't touch him. Keep your hands and arms away.
Lane makes the first free throw. Substitutions for both teams. Federico and Deba back in for Texas A&M. J.P. Estrella comes into the game, replacing Jalen Carey for Tennessee. Lane got them both. It's a 2-point game with just under 16 seconds in this second overtime period.
You got time for one trap, and then you got a foul. And with most teams, I would just say foul immediately, but Texas A&M's so good at their defensive pressure, they've got enough time for a trap.
Tennessee will take a timeout. Remember, we have had 3 5-second violations on an inbound play tonight for Tennessee. Nate Ament had no interest in there being a fourth.
Well, I'm going to tell you who does have interest, and that's this fan base. I mean, we've been here for close to 3 hours, and they have not gone anywhere. Pretty impressive.
Tuesday night, students not back. Both teams still with one remaining timeout in this second overtime period. You do have some students that are here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like she's got a Gucci bag ready. She's ready to walk out, but she hadn't left yet.
So in addition to those 3 5-second calls, Tennessee has burned 4 timeouts tonight to avoid an additional 5-second call on an inbound.
Well, this is the first year that you've had quote-unquote buckyball in the SEC. And whenever you have a new coach, it takes time to get accustomed to it. Think about when Nate Oates for Alabama, the head coach of Alabama, first came to the league. You had to get used to his pace and style. That's what's happening here.
Estrella looking to inbound. He gets it into Ament. They'll foul Ament just as he crosses half court. And Nate Ament, who's got 21 points tonight, 2 off a career high, headed back to the free throw line.
I would love to know what his plus-minus is tonight. He's blocked shots. He's gotten rebounds. He's scored. He's defended. He's handled the press. I mean, he's really done an outstanding job.
That foul was on Rylan Griffin, his 5th, so he is done for the night. You're not going to believe it when I tell you his plus-minus is 1.
Yeah, Jimmy Dykes was talking about it in that last game. He didn't understand how it worked. But all I know is that Tennessee's certainly better off with him on the floor than without. Plus minus that.
There you go. Ament. 2 makes it a 2-possession game. He calmly knocks down the first. Nate Ament now 1 point away from tying his career high. He's the 3rd top 5 recruit in Tennessee history, joining Tobias Harris and the great Allen Houston.
What was Alice Houston? Man, he was so good. He was a mid-range specialist.
Trying to make it a 4-point game. Ament got them both. 86-82, 12.7 to play. Lane conserving as much clock as he can, trying to go straight line to the rim. Gets it off the glass. Missed the shot. Rebound for Jalen Carey. And Tennessee fans finally are starting to feel it.
And Rashawn Agee with his 5th foul. He fought and battled about as well as he could. And you see Boswell, I think, showing love to this fan base, because for 3 hours, this fan base didn't go anywhere, and I think they kept them engaged. They continued to support them.
So Rashawn Agee's night is done for Texas A&M. Agee finishes this game with 11 points and 9 rebounds. And now you've got Carey going to the free throw line. He's got 9 points and 9 rebounds tonight. It's been a good game for the junior from Southwest Ranches, Florida. He makes the first. Came in as only a 51% free throw shooter, but he's made some big ones in extra time.
Yeah, give credit. Tennessee 76% from the line on the night. How about this? The Aggies shoot 42 three-pointers and never quite get to that number that Bucky McMillan was saying, 15 threes.
Pop Isaacs trying to get to the rim. He is tied up on the play by Bishop Boswell, who has had a monster game tonight for Tennessee. 13 points, 11 rebounds for Boswell. Bucky McMillan going to take his final timeout with 1.1 remaining. His team trailing by 5.
Well, the Tennessee Volunteers' culture, reputation, has always been a defensive team, a physical team, a tough team. And I don't mind Bishop Boswell. You know, I heard the crowd hollering, "Don't foul." But as you look for a leader on this Tennessee Volunteer team, those are the type of plays that you see, right? Even though we know we've got the game in hand, I'm not going to foul, but I'm also not going to let you score because that's Tennessee basketball. I'm anxious to see if a leader continues to evolve out of this new group for the Volunteers.
You've had a couple of guys emerge tonight. Ament with a monster game, 23 points, tying his career high. Bishop Boswell with a big game. And a big night for Felix Akpara, 10 points and 12 rebounds. 2 Vols with double-doubles. Jalen Carey a rebound away from a double-double himself. Dominguez lets the 3 go. It's off the back iron. There were 8 lead changes in regulation. All 8 came in the last 5:29. There were 3 lead changes in the 2 overtimes combined. The last one gave Tennessee the lead for good. What a game, Damian Fishback.
Yeah, we learned that the Aggies are for real. Went down, but not without a fight. And the Tennessee Volunteers have showed that they are still to be dealt with in the SEC, and particularly here at the Food City Center. Big win for the Volunteers.
A double overtime win in Knoxville at home. 87-82 is our final. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday night from Food City Center and Thompson Bowling Arena. Tennessee now 2-2. They will host the Kentucky Wildcats on Saturday. Texas A&M, well, they're headed back home, and they've got Mississippi State coming in this weekend. Actually, they're going to be on the... I'm looking at the wrong schedule. Doesn't matter. Texas A&M going to get back after it. They got Mississippi State at home coming up on Saturday. For our entire SEC Network crew and my partner Damian Fishback, I'm Richard Cross. Thanks for being with us. Tennessee wins it in double OT. Here's Dari.